I watch old TV shows.
Yeah.
And it was the first Kojak. You remember Kojak?
Telly Savalas.
Telly Savalas.
With the lollipop.
Yeah, he had the lollipop going. So for the pilot, it was Crocker's first day. You know, Kevin Dobson played Crocker.
Sure, Crocker.
So he was just out of police academy. Green. They kept saying how green he was. Kojak had been around a long time. He knew everything. So he's, you know, has this green kid, and he doesn't know if he wants to be working with him. So what was happening was prostitutes were being murdered.
Oh, my.
He goes, go down and try to get some information from the prostitute's mother. So a little while later, Crocker comes back. I talked to her mother. She wasn't a prostitute at all. She was a good girl. Yeah. So Kojak's seen it all, right? So he takes this lollipop. He goes, yep, she was a good girl. Mama's apple pie. The 4th of July. She was a hooker! Crocker was too green to see it, you know?
You told me that we should go our separate ways, but now
Part of the death squad? Okay.
But I have had problems with them.
Yeah.
They tried to derail me years ago. Well, because I was in cahoots with Mencia, they thought.
Okay.
Oh, right.
So when the whole Carlos Mencia, Joe Rogan thing happened, they had me on tape, right? Like, I didn't know that Joe Rogan was, I love Joe, he's a friend of mine. Yeah. Joe, if you're listening, we're good, right? But the thing is that I didn't know that he was taping me. So I said, yeah, Mencia steals.
Doing Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee's his friend.
I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is.
That's Ned Holness.
Oh, I know Ned Holness. Yeah, he's really good. Hey, does all that stuff?
How's he doing?
Hey! All that stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, Ned.
Do a couple minutes of his material, okay?
Well, I'll just do some of my material and then it'll be the same. You know, so I'll just talk about myself.
What has he ever stolen from you?
I used to do this bit about how I was so small that my dad would have to get on my shoulders to get on a ride at Disneyland.
Right.
Then he did a bit, literally, but this is, I can't do it. But where is this
Who
going?
cares? What the fuck? It's reality.
Anyway, it's good to see you.
This is the reason why comedians get away with stealing. Because comedians like you are afraid of confrontation.
And then I also said that I sucked my cousin's dick.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
That's a sharp left turn.
Yeah, which I didn't know there was a camera on.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm not gay, but in high school I sucked my cousin's dick.
Yeah,
sure.
And then also on top of that, I said that Vietnamese people were jungle Asians, which I had to apologize to the Vietnamese people, and I apologize. That's what I said back then.
Do you mean he put this up on the internet or
Then
something?
he put it on the internet. Death Squad did,
shit.
right?
Yeah, what did I say?
So he had to publicly make an apology to the Vietnamese community because he called you guys, and he calls Filipinos this too. He calls us all jungle gooks or jungle Asians.
not
Jungle,
gooks.
not
That's
gooks,
what
jungle Asians.
That's by saying jungle gooks, you make it worse.
He said jungle
Yeah.
Asian.
But
How do you justify that?
Well, because you guys live in the fucking jungle. What do you mean? How do I justify it?
We don't live in the jungle.
All right, so if I go to Vietnam, is there a jungle there?
There is a jungle. There's a jungle in plenty of other countries.
There's not a jungle in Korea. What?
I'm sure you guys have rainforests.
No, we don't. At all. It's trees. Like it looks like Denver.
You're trying to say Korea is Denver.
Yeah, it's.
And all of a sudden now, right, my aunt, my cousin's mom calls me. He didn't suck your dick.
No, you sucked his dick.
Yeah, no, we sucked each other's dick. Yeah, and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
When you're single trying to attract a partner, it's important to project the qualities you desire, which I understand, but boy, oh boy, have I had to suck a lot of dick lately.
That's sort of like a Bobby Lee joke.
It is a lot like a Bobby Lee.
All right. What about this one? This is for you.
I didn't. You know what I mean? And then my mom, that's my mom's sister, they didn't talk, and then she died.
Oh, no.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Fucking Christ.
She died, right?
Story.
See, so the last thing that, I heard from my aunt is you didn't suck each other's dick. And then a couple years later, my mom, they stopped talking, and then she died.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Famous last word.
Yeah, I love Death Squad.
Yeah. How many views did it get?
Millions.
Oh, see?
But then over the years, though, I made my way back into the group, and now We're all good.
So you opened for Mencia, which made you the enemy of the Death Squad.
Yeah. Because
It's like a Bruce Lee movie.
Yeah, it's just like it.
So the Death Squad.
I don't know what Bruce Lee movie.
They're comedians.
Yeah.
Well, don't you think Death Squad makes more sense in a Bruce Lee movie than a comedy
that
club?
is true. That is true.
I went to a comedy club, and then the next week the Death Squad were there. It was just odd. I don't know. And they acted like it was a normal thing. And I said, you know, I was here next week. I said, the Death Squad.
I need your love. You free my mind. I need your love. Yeah, you free my mind.
I mean, when was the last time you did Rogan?
Oh.
Okay.
12 years ago.
Wow. For real?
Yeah. What happened?
It's because you are a big vaxxer, right? And you just said I hate him now.
No, I want to do it. It's just I don't know how.
I bet Sharp could get you in. All right.
It's a good one.
You know Bobby's new movie.
No, it's okay. It's
about a boy.
It's okay.
All right.
It's okay.
I don't like those news stories that's scary either, man. That's why I don't like watching the news no more. Because when I was a kid, just news stories be real stuff, you know, like about the world or whatever. But now they'll have little personal stories that have nothing to do with nobody, and they present it as the news, you know, and then you don't want to see them, you know. And I noticed the latest one, they all seem to have, the show will open the news, and there'll be a guy with a suit and a tie, so you know he's a newsman. And he goes, hey, our top story tonight, a lady has vanished. And you're like, oh, yeah? And they go, yes, she's gone. Oh, yeah? Do I know her? No. You never heard of her, but we're going to tell you about her. We got Bill. He's on the outside. They have one guy inside, one guy outside. Bill, what's going on? And then Bill's outside. He's like, yeah, the lady vanished. Her name was Janice, and nobody can find her hiding her hair. Her car was found in the car is fine. It's in the Burger King lot, but we can't find the lady. All right, back to you. And, you know, so then you're at home, you go, well, I don't give a damn on account I never knew her in the first place. How can I possibly care? As a matter of fact, I'm happy it's her and not someone I know. So, but then they go, we'll tell you about it. You go, no, that's cool, you know. I don't really want to know. But they can't help themselves, you know. They go, here or she, oh, hey, Bill, you still outside? And he's like, yeah, of course. And they go, we understand you have some friends, a Janice, to tell you about. Yes, we've been talking to some of her friends anyways. Turns out she's a good lady. Breaking news, Janice was a good lady. And we got some of her friends here going to talk about it. And then they show a lady and says, Janice's friend. And she says, oh, Janice, man, she was the greatest. She was the kind of person where you could walk into a room and she would light up the whole room. You know, it was amazing. She didn't have a light or nothing like that. She would just somehow, through sheer tyranny of will, she could make a room light up. Some of us thought it was supernatural, but. And then this is other Janice's friend. Oh, Janice. She was the type of lady I remember that you could always turn to. You know how sometimes you want to turn your neck, you know, because you're having troubles. You want to, you know, or your neck hurts, whatever. But when you turn, the person you most want to see in your eye line would be Janice, you know. And then, if you say Janice's other friend that wasn't one of the first two. Well, Janice, she's the kind of person, you could be talking to your best friend the whole world, you know, and then Janice comes in and goes, screw you, I'm talking to Janice. You know, you go over to Janice. She's a better person than you. It's Janice. And so
Then at home you start to get invested in Janice. You start liking her. You know what I mean? And every day they show you more about Janice. You know, and they show different home videos of her. And you're like, hey, honey, look. Oh, I like that hat she's wearing. She's eating a piece of pizza. You know, and you start really liking her. You know, you go, man, that lady's nice. I'd like to meet her one day. I forgot she vanished. Oh, well, they'll find her. I'm sure of it. Then you get hope, you know, and all you can think about is Janice. You know? Your feverish dreams are commanded by Janice's spirit, you know? You can't even think right, you know? And every day you're turning on the news, man, what's going on with Janice? And they keep going, telling, you know, and things progress, you know, and Bill's still outside, and he's like, we're still looking, it's been 3 weeks now, but as we speak, everyone's combing the woods behind me as we speak, and then you're at home, you go, oh, no, not the woods. You don't like to hear that. Nothing good ever happens in the woods. I've seen enough of these stories to realize that Janice is not going to come bounding out of the woods anytime soon. It's like, hey, what's going on, everybody? I was just taking a stroll through the woods. What's going on? Why are you taking pictures of me anyway? What's going on? Now, if they find you in the woods, generally, they find you in one spot. As a matter of fact, exclusively, every time, if you're found in the woods, you're found in a shallow grave. That's the way it works. I don't know why, but I've seen enough Bill Curtis specials to know that shallow grave is where you want to end up. Certain things you don't want on your death certificate. One would be shallow grave. Massive. You wouldn't want to see that on your death certificate, the word massive. Or maybe you would. I don't know. Maybe that would be a good one. What about complications? That's the one that always confused me. I'm like, what the fuck? You go, hey, Doc, would my dad die again? It's complicated. It's complications. He died from them. Well, how'd that work? You told me it was going to be a simple operation. Yeah, we thought it was. You're not a doctor, are you? It looks simple in the book. But once we cut him open, man, a lot of red stringy stuff in your dad. Very complicated when you get in there, really. Well, anyways, goodbye. So, yeah, you don't want to see shallow grave in any of your, you know, in any of the Fourth Estate's account on your being dispatched. So, and also, doesn't it seem a little rash, a shallow grave, you know? Like after all their planning, these serial killers, they're supposed to be so cunning, you know, so diabolical according to the TV movies I've seen. And doesn't it seem a little rash at the end that all of a sudden it's just shallow grave, you know? It's just, wouldn't you think they'd go to a little, yeah? There's like, there you go, a couple of leaves and a twig. That doesn't look like Janice. I don't remember Janice having twigs and leaves all over her. Nobody will find her. A Boy Scout ain't going to stumble over her tomorrow morning, I know that much. I'm going home and await the authorities. And then they go home. Now, I would, if I ever did that, and I would never slaughter and kill a woman. I want you to know that. I know I say that now. Who knows? You know, can't predict the future, but I know there's not a river long enough that does not contain a bend. But I believe right now, I would not slaughter a woman. And maybe it's just vanity talking. You know, the scriptures say that man is mostly vanity. But in my vanity, I do not believe I would do it, you know. But if I did do it, if I somehow snapped, because who would ever know, I would plan it out. I'd be very, very careful about it, you know. I would track the lady, you know. Because you know, there's still a stigma, even in today's enlightened society, when you slaughter a lady. So I would track the lady. You understand? I would find out. This is what you got to do. You got to find out her habits. You know, like maybe you go, "Hey man, I know she goes to that cheese sandwich store every day, and when she comes back, she's got a big paper bag of stuff. I bet you ain't there's cheese sandwiches in there." Eh? So then you put that up in your head. Lady likes cheese sandwiches. It's one piece of information, but you take your time. You know. Then you notice, you see another pattern. You go, hey, every Wednesday night, that lady goes down to the gymnasium and plays basketball with other ladies, which is fine nowadays. So, what I would do is I would stand outside of the gym, you know, and she'd come out there all sweaty with a ridiculously tricolored ball, you know, and she'd be finished her game, and then where would I be? I'd be standing at the other side of the parking lot, and in my hand, what do you think would be resting but a cheese sandwich, right? So then she'd go, hey, what's in your hand? I go, what, nothing? She'd go, yeah, there's something in your hand. I go, there's nothing in my hand. I don't know what you're talking about. She'd go, there's something in your hand. I'm not blind. I see something in your hand. I go, there's nothing in my, oh yeah, this. Oh no, it's just a cheese sandwich. What, why, you like them or something? I got a whole bunch in that van over there. Yeah, that craziest looking van you've ever seen in your life. It's right over there. You want to go there? You want to go get some? And by the way, if you ever do this, and I don't think you ever should, you don't have to have cheese sandwiches in the van. You know, unless you're proud of your detailed work or something like that. I don't want you to go, if you're a frugal serial killer, I'm the last that would advise you to throw away all kinds of money on cheese and double the amount on bread, you know? Should bread and cheese cost the exact same amount of money? But anyways, I would plan it out. That's what I'm saying. And then I would take the lady and I would never do this, of course, but I would take the lady in the van to a remote area, you know, where there was a wooden shack that I had constructed, and it was silenced to the point that her screams would just echo off the walls, never to reach civilized ear again. And then I would do whatever it is that they do that gives you that godlike power, and then I would take her to the woods and I would bury her in the deepest grave ever. That would be most of my plan. The grave. Like 2 years before I had selected a victim, I would be working on the grave. I'd get 50, 100-foot grave. As a matter of fact, if I had any sense in my head, as my dad used to say about me, I would start digging the grave now. Just in case, because you never know when you're going to snap. You know? I should go home and just dig a big, deep 100-foot grave, you know? And worst case scenario, like my dad used to say, hey, a little hard work never hurt anybody, goddammit, you know? And best case scenario, I slaughter a lady and get away with it. If you're gonna slaughter a lady, and I'm completely against it, It's much better to slaughter a lady and get away with it than slaughter a lady and not get away with it. That's just, I don't know, because I've not done either. You know, I would have to talk to one of you that have done both to really get an answer. But I would suspect, like anything, not getting caught, you know, is the better choice than getting caught.
Well, I can tell a joke.
Go for it.
Yeah,
This
please
is
do,
what we're
please.
looking for.
Yeah.
There was a little boy in school named Dirty Johnny. Now, he's not dirty in this joke, but he'd always be a hellion in class, and the teacher didn't think much of him. So the teacher has a project, or not a project, but an in-class thing. How'd that go again? She says, now, this is what you're going to do here, class. I want you to stand up. I want you to stand up and tell the class what a story from your life, and then afterwards say the moral to that story. So a girl puts up her hand. Yes, Becky. What's your story? So Becky stands up. She goes, my dad works for the hatchery here in town, and what happens was he got about 15 eggs, and he put them all in one basket, all in the same basket. So he put all his eggs in one basket. And he put it on the horse and buggy and drove back home. And by God, Becky says, the bouncing and all the eggs broke. Well, that's a good story, the teacher says, but what would the moral be to that? Becky says, well, the moral is, don't put all your eggs into one basket. But goddamn, says the teacher, that's a good one. Anybody else? Marjorie puts up her hand. Marjorie, what's your story? She says, well, my dad worked for the hatchery, as most, all of us. Thank God for the hatchery. She says, or we'd all be lost. But anyways, my dad knows that eggs become chickens. And so he was counting his chickens, and he added in the eggs, you see. And then he put them on a horse and buggy to go to town, and they all broke. Well, what's the lesson to that? The teacher says. She can't understand. And she says, well, don't count your chickens before they hatch out of an egg. So the teacher says, that's a great one, too. Anybody else? Well, wouldn't you know, Dirty Johnny has his hand up. So the teacher's like, holy God, I don't want it. But on the other hand, I made an oath to every child, should I suppose I gotta. All right, Dirty Johnny, what do you have to say? Johnny stands up. The story's about my Uncle Terry. He never worked at the hatchery on account he was in Vietnam, and he got disability. He don't even like people work at the hatchery. But the story happened far from these shores, in a little town called Da Nang. Terry was not well liked. His whole troop left him, abandoned. And he woke up in the weeds, and all they left him with was 3 bottles of Jack Daniels, some weapons. Terry stood up and downed 1 bottle right away. Said, if I'm going out, I'm going out. He took his Balishnikov and a couple of Glocks and his 2 bottles, and away he went. He found a town. And he didn't know if it was Charlie or if it was one he was sent to protect. But all he knew was he had hate in his gut. So he started firing. And he fired the Kalashnikov with an arcing kind of, like a farmer would with hay, with a scythe. And sure enough, the men fell like hay before him. And then the women, and by God, I'm ashamed to say it, but then the children. And finally, all was left was Uncle Terry standing in the mud and the blood and the glory.
And he touched his pants, and it was wet, and he said he was ashamed. He felt shame, Uncle Terry, for he'd pissed himself. Well, he touched it again. It was not urine at all, but ejaculate. And Uncle Terry felt pride where shame once was. And the teacher's like, good Christ, what kind of a story is that? What the hell is the moral to that? Oh, well, he says, when Uncle Terry's been drinking, you don't fuck with him. Now, especially if you work at the hatchery. Now, listen. So listen, guys, this has been fun, hasn't it?
This has been probably my favorite.
Been good. It saves me a trip to my senile uncle. So that's.
Everything's good about, you know, you're an Irishman. My mother, she was orange. My father, he was green. It was the biggest mix-up that you have ever seen. I'm Scottish. I'm a Scot. You're Irish.
Yes.
What are you?
Swedish German.
Swedish German? Are you really?
Yeah, really. Why would I lie about that? It's not funny.
It's very odd, 'cause
it's a very strange lie. I put one over on those people. Yeah.
Swedish German. No, I'll tell you why it's funny, man, because I was in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
I met a good old boy down there, and he said, he said, you know Andy Richter?
Yeah? Yeah, he did?
Yeah.
You met a guy in Georgia and he said, you know Andy Richter?
Oh, yeah, you guys do well there.
Oh.
And he said, I said, yeah. He said, you ever heard of Andy Richter joke? I said, no. He said, well, most of it's based on him being Swedish German. And then he told me an Andy Richter joke. And
Really?
But I didn't know he was Swedish German. I thought it was all nonsense.
Yeah, well, now this lines up perfectly. Let me ask you something, because it sort of relates to the first...
Wait, don't you want to hear the joke?
No. Oh, you're down to 6. You're down to 6. All right, this joke will get you back up. You can get him back. Okay. Let's hear the joke.
Well, the fella says, he says, you ever hear the time about the old prospector? That's how he tells you, know?
Yeah.
He says, man, there was an old prospector, and he was prospecting for gold, and he was having a hell of a time getting any gold. It was an empty stake, I believe. And he said he'd come into town one day. He'd been in the mine for a good 8 months. He said, by God, he said, I'm only flesh and blood. Sure. Yeah. And I need a woman, you know. And so he goes into town. He goes up to the bartender. He says, bartender, he says, man, I've been in that mine for a hell of a long time, and I'm only flesh and blood. I need a woman. Well, the bartender says, hell, there ain't no women in this town. If you want to do any of that business, all we got is Andy Richter, the Swedish German. The prospector, he says, no, he says, hell, I ain't into that funny stuff, you know. He says, I'll be fine. So he goes back to his state, you know, and he's back in that mine, man, and 6 months passes, and a year passes, and Conan, you know, people are weak. Man is made of flesh and pride, as the scriptures tell us, and by God, that old prospector finally broke to his knees, and he said, I'm no worse than he went back to the bar. Yeah. He was a beaten man. He says to the bartender, he says, hell, man, I've been in that place 2.5 years. A man has needs, and if you say there's no women in this here town, he says, well, I'll have to go for Andy Richter, the Swedish German. But he says, listen now, he says, man, I'm a tough old hombre, you know, and I got friends now. He says, I don't want anybody to know about this. You know, this is back in the old days.
Sure, yeah.
He says,
I can tell by the accent, yeah.
He says, I got my cowpoke friends and so forth. I'd hate to hell anybody know about this, you know. This got to be all secret. Nobody. I say, nobody can know about this. Bartender says, well, 4 people know about it. How do you figure that? He says, well, he says, I'll know about it. He says, you'll know about it. Andy Richter, the Swedish German, will know about it. And the feller that has to hold down Andy will know about it. Why? Because Andy Richter, the Swedish German, he don't go for that funny business neither.
At least you left me my dignity.
Yeah.
I like the way that story ended.
Yeah,
that was a nice.
You weren't gay.
Right. Well, but that's not beside the point.
You were raped.
No, it's more. It's more that I wasn't prostituting myself. That's what I was getting.
You're such a horrible man.
We're on basic cable, but it's still valuable airtime.
I don't know about that.
In Georgia, they say there's a whole subgenre of Andy the Swedish German joke. That's what the guy told me.
Well, you know what? I asked you, how are you?
Yeah?
And you went into, I believe, a 48-minute joke.
Oh,
which
I'm sorry.
was fantastic, but now we have to take a commercial break.
Are you kidding me?
What? Yes! I'm about to grow my beard back if I don't...
Berlin.
You know, I've noticed lately, everybody has an opinion. And when I was young, it wasn't that way, you know. People would have maybe, 6 opinions, you know. Sometimes you meet a guy, he'd have 8 opinions. You'd go, God damn, that guy's opinionated. Now, as an old-timey broadcaster, do you have other old-timey broadcaster friends?
Well, they're dead. Mike Wallace was a great friend. I love Mike. He did me on 60 Minutes, and it was really great. They were very laudatory. And he said to me, we were so good to you, I'm going to kill the next 3 guys we did. Mike was a grand guy. I said, he had dementia at the end. That's funny to you, huh? You know, McDonald, I want to tell you.
No, it's a very odd thing to say.
If you're looking to broaden your horizons, I don't think it's wise to laugh at someone who had dementia.
I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing that you said.
He was
you
the best.
Just said.
I loved him.
Mike Wallace was a great guy. He had dementia at the end.
He was sad that he had.
You didn't
Why
say
is
it
that
was sad.
funny?
You said it as if that's what made him a great guy, was his raging dementia.
You're not hearing things well.
No. So how
You're not
did
hearing
you,
things
so
well.
how did you...
I made a face like it was sad. Not that he was great because of dementia.
No, but how did you know he had dementia?
Well, yeah. Okay. I'll tell you how I knew. I went to his apartment in New York. He took my hand and he said, you came to see me. You came to see, I can't believe that you came to see me. And then 10 minutes later, you came to see me. And the amazing thing is, Carl Reiner said to me,
Did he hold your hand too?
I'm gonna do it. Yeah, he goes like this. The only problem I have is short-term memory loss. The only problem I have is short-term memory.
It must be especially...
There was a joke about a guy because it was such a good story. There's a guy who had surgery, and I can't remember the joke.
I can't either. I can't either. And I did it last night.
I remember the punchline.
Yeah.
That's funny.
What was the punchline?
The
Maybe we
punchline
can
is
reverse engineer this
and
thing.
Monday morning, that man walked out of the hospital. And Thursday, he reached the parking lot. So I can't remember back up.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a punchline regardless.
Yeah, it almost works by itself. We got jokes written on cards. Do you want to read them? How's your reading?
I read well.
You read well? Well, read this
Why have you got that?
Huh? Just to, you know.
Oh, just to fill in.
Whenever we have great comedians on the show.
What the hell is that joke now? I can't remember the...
Say the punchline again.
On Thursday, he reached the park.
But Monday, he left
And Monday morning...
He left the building.
Monday morning...
He was allowed out of the hospital.
He walked out of the... no. What the hell? Was that funny not to remember the joke?
Yeah.
And
thank God that guy that stole it from you remembers it.
Gee whiz.
Or it'd be lost to history.
I can't remember the setup.
Well, here,
That's funny when the punch and you forget the setup.
Yeah, that should be.
Monday morning. He was...
Thought you had a stroke for a second.
He was in the hospital, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember things from 10 years ago like that.
Yeah.
Don't you could remember things from childhood?
Yes.
I remember the street, walking down the street, remember my friends. You have terrible?
Yeah, terrible.
I had a good memory.
He can remember like when he was a kid, but he can't remember murdering that prostitute last night.
You can go to jail for that. It's a whole new law.
I've been told.
How old was she?
I don't remember.
If you don't remember, you're not going to convict you.
Yeah.
Well, a study this week reports seafood is good for you unless it's fried. Yet another groundbreaking story from the pages of the medical journal, Duh. A new study says that people who quit smoking have healthier lungs. Yet another groundbreaking story from the pages of the medical journal, Duh. A person who suffers 2 sharp, powerful blows to the head within a short period of time can suffer brain damage or even die. This, according to a new study in the medical journal, Duh. Dr. Jack Kevorkian was responsible for another death this week, this time a 58-year-old woman. She is the 26th of Kevorkian's patients to die since 1990. When are people going to realize he is not a good doctor? Do not go to this man. He's incompetent. He's terrible. Dr. Jack Kevorkian and 7 associates have unveiled new guidelines for doctors in planning physician-assisted suicide. Rule number 1, get paid in advance. In a Michigan courtroom this week, Dr. Jack Kevorkian was acquitted of murder charges after jurors agreed that he had made a compelling argument for assisted suicide. Last week, during his latest trial on charges of assisted suicide, Dr. Jack Kevorkian startled a Michigan courtroom when he stood up and shouted, "This is a lynching." Everyone turned to look, and sure enough, he just lynched some old guy. Tomorrow night on 60 Minutes, Dr. Jack Kevorkian will sit for his first ever in-depth interview. According to producers, Kevorkian agreed to the interview only on condition that it be conducted by veteran correspondent Andy Rooney. Wait. Don't do it, Andy. It's a trap. It's a trap. This week, Dr. Jack Kevorkian was granted an emergency 30-day permit to carry a handgun after telling a court that he fears, quote, right-wing nuts. But if you ask me, you know, I think Kevorkian's just getting a little lazy, you know? In other news, authorities in Pontiac, Michigan are trying to determine if Dr. Jack Kevorkian was involved in the death of a woman whose body was found in the back of his suicide van. You know, I'm no expert in police work, but yes. In music news, Dr. Jack Kevorkian has performed and recorded a 1-hour CD of his own jazz compositions for the flute. You know, Dr. Kevorkian, I've listened to your CD, and I've got some advice. Don't quit your day job, all right? You know, murdering old people, stick with that. Stay away from the flute and stick with the murdering old people. This is my advice. Dr. Jack Kevorkian announced this week that he will start to offer organs taken from his suicide patients to people who need transplants. In addition, Kevorkian promised that anyone who does not get a life-saving organ will receive a free murdering. There was outrage in Detroit this week when Dr. Jack Kevorkian helped a woman commit suicide in a local church, leaving her body inside the church building. According to Kevorkian, murdering people in his van has almost completely lost its sense of blasphemy. Hello, how are you? And finally, in medical news, there are reports that suicide doctor Jack Kevorkian is considering retirement. As Kevorkian put it, I always said I'd quit the day it stopped being fun. Well, the holidays are upon us again, and that can mean only one thing: a dramatic increase in suicides. Hi, I'm Dr. Jack Kevorkian. You know, after I introduced my suicide machine 2 years ago, I got a flood of letters thanking me. But I also received letters like the following. Hey, Dr. Kevorkian, your machine is great for people with painful terminal illness.
I've been searching for what's missing, but the answer...
Dr. James Watts, a neurosurgeon who performed the first frontal lobotomy, died this week in Washington. If you recall, a lobotomy involves drilling holes in the skull and then inserting and rotating a knife to destroy brain cells. What a genius, he'll be missed. Psychiatrist Kurt Freund, one of the world's leading experts on the study of deviant sexual arousal, passed away last week at the age of 82. Dr. Freund's last words were, quote, "Whatever happens to me, can someone please make sure that the headline of my obituary does not contain the phrase, deviant sexual arousal?" Would that be too much to ask from you, you dirty...
I love Norm. Norm is from my home country, Canada, and from my home club, Yuck Yucks. And I've worked with him many times. Norm had one of the funniest stories he ever told on The Tonight Show about his father. Do you know about his father and Bill Cosby?
No.
No, not his. He told this on The Tonight Show. He told a story. It's one of my favorite stories because it's real. Again, Bill Cosby was on SNL when, as a guest host, when Norm was there, and he tells a story about his dad got him into comedy. Norm MacDonald's dad would sit him down every time there was a comedian on The Tonight Show or wherever. He would sit him down and make him watch, and they would watch Cosby together. Cosby stand up, and they would laugh. That was his father and him bonding moment, and maybe the reason he got into comedy. So when Cosby was on the show, he went up and he said, "Mr. Cosby, you know, I just want to tell you that I think you're the reason I'm in comedy. You are my dad's favorite comedian, and he used to make me sit down in front of the TV and watch you, and that's what inspired me to go into comedy, but you're his favorite." And Cosby says to him, "Where are you from?" And he goes, "I'm from Ottawa, Canada." And Cosby says, "I'm playing Ottawa. I'm on tour. I'm going to be playing Ottawa in 2 weeks. Give me your dad's number. I'll call him, and I'll bring him to the show." And Norm goes, "That's amazing." He goes, "What's his number?" And he wrote down his number, and then he walked away and he started sweating. And one of his friends said to him, "What's wrong, Norm?" He goes, "Well, I told him that story. And then once he said, I'm going to call him, I was too uncomfortable to tell him my father died 5 years ago." So I just wrote down a bullshit number, and that's it. And they go, "How could you do that, Norm?" 2 weeks goes by. Norm is sitting in his office. They get a call. They said, "Norm, Bill Cosby is on line 2. This is 2 weeks later, and he picks up the phone and he goes, "Yeah," he goes, "Listen, I'm in Ottawa and your dad's not answering. They said that this number is disconnected that you gave me." What is his number? And I can't remember for the life of me the end of the story, but Norm was stuck on the phone and he didn't want to say, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that he's dead. Like, at what point do you kind of break this to Bill Cosby? It was one of the funniest, real, uncomfortable, and that kind of comedy is the kind of comedy that when people are uncomfortable. And when Norm MacDonald told that real life story, it's really funny, but oh my God, his father's dead. He's in a, it's
How do you get out of that? Yeah.
Yeah, there was no way.
Was there an ending?
I can't remember the ending, and I wasn't prepared for this story, and I remember I hear it a lot. I'm just kind of bowled over by the loss of somebody younger than me.
I had maybe the greatest Bill Cosby story ever.
Really?
And now it's not in the top 10,000. Because I'll tell people the story.
Right.
And I'll constantly be interrupted by, and then did he rape you? I'm like, he didn't ever rape me. It had nothing to do with the story.
One of the nicest, most genuine, authentic people I've been watching over and over again. One of my favorite moments of his is in 1998. In January 7th, if you look it up, January 7th, 1998, he did the Letterman show. That is the day that he got fired from Weekend Update.
Right.
And he wouldn't say anything negative. Letterman did many, many times to him in his face. But he first of all, he was fired. He still showed up and did this appearance. If you got fired off your main event, I doubt you would want to
promote it
and be out in public.
Right.
And that's all they talked about. And he would not say, Letterman was going, what kind of idiot would fire you? No, he's a very nice man. He was a nice man. He just didn't like he would not besmirch the guy that made
Class act.
The most classy.
Don Ohlmeyer.
Yeah.
And it occurred to me, and I was talking to my buddies on a text chain the other day, a bunch of comics, and I said, this wasn't Norm's time. He didn't want to live in a world of Don Ohlmeyers. Everyone trying to cancel everybody.
Right.
It was interesting that he's gone now.
So you went on there and told that story, and then Dave was kidding you about Don Ohlmeyer, et cetera, as I
Right.
recall.
Dave was much more upset about it than me. Because Dave wasn't under the influence of Xanax.
I wonder if he's doing it now. Up there. Up there. She's up there too.
My favorite of all of the hosts of these types of shows is
what's his name?
Is the host of Deal or No Deal, Howie.
Oh, Howie.
Yeah. He's the most amazing.
Good.
Even though he's a comedian, he does it, and I'm going to tell you that you are in a moment.
Yeah, and he still gets us every week.
Every time.
Every week.
In Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a man allowed his 8-year-old daughter to take the wheel of his car, and an accident ensued that damaged 7 other cars and injured 6 people, which once again proves my theory: women can't drive. New medical research shows that men and women have different food cravings, men preferring meat and women preferring sweets. Scientists trace this back to caveman days, when men had to go out and hunt for food while women sat on their fat asses eating chocolates. A celebrated fertility statue, which many believe has the power to make women pregnant, began a nationwide tour this week. The hundreds of women who claim it caused their pregnancies are of different ages, races, and religions. But they all have one thing in common. They are all dirty, dirty whores. A new book claims that Madonna once smeared peanut butter all over John F. Kennedy Jr.'s body and then licked it off, which just goes to show you Madonna's a whore. In other show business news, it has been reported that superstar Madonna is pregnant. Although personally I find this a bit hard to believe. I mean, Madonna isn't even married. It's like crazy. And finally, Weekend Update would like to congratulate Madonna, who gave birth to a beautiful baby girl last Monday. The baby weighed in at 6 pounds 9 ounces, making it the 4th largest object ever to pass through Madonna's birth canal. I like that Madonna's baby thing.
Oh, yeah.
Funny.
Oh,
you know, it's, I really have to give it to that guy that's the father, you know, Carlos...
Leon.
Carlos Leon.
Or Carlos Leon, I forget which one.
Because you got to have a lot of guts. That means he had sex with Madonna without a condom. Yeah. That's great. Pop singer Madonna was outraged this week when a tabloid photographer snapped her picture while she was breastfeeding her new baby. Apparently, the baby was blocking her nipple. Well, filming has finally begun in the long-awaited life story of Evita Peron, starring pop singer Madonna. According to its producers, the film is 100% historically accurate, except for the part where Mrs. Peron has group sex with the Houston Rockets. Texas millionaire J. Howard Marshall may have died 2 months ago, but as we see here, he and wife Anna Nicole Smith can still enjoy a romantic evening at home. Former Playboy centerfold and Guess jeans model Anna Nicole Smith collapsed this week after she suddenly realized that she actually had sex with this guy. And finally, in entertainment news, ex-Playboy centerfold Anna Nicole Smith has filed for bankruptcy. And saddest of all, she slept with this guy for nothing. Well, the Learning Annex in New York is offering a new course to teach women how to smoke cigars. The fee to enroll in the class is $100. The fee to watch the class is $200. According to a new study from Yale University, in order to duplicate the physique of a Barbie doll, the average woman would have to grow to 7 feet, add 5 inches to her bust, and trim 6 inches from her waist. So ladies, you have your mission, now get to it. Hollywood prostitute Divine Brown has written a book describing in lurid detail exactly what she did with Hugh Grant. The book sells for $25, but for $35 she'll show you. Former British cavalry officer James Hewitt, who was Lady Diana's secret lover, says he will never, ever disclose the contents of more than 100 love letters that she sent to him. This, according to Hewitt's new book, I Banged a Princess. Under a new ordinance, exotic, nude, and topless dancing will be banned in any establishment selling alcoholic beverages in the city of New Iberia, Louisiana, or as I now refer to it, the most horrible place on earth. Exotic dancers say a city ordinance requiring them to keep 4 feet away from their customers will put them out of business in Shoreline, Washington, or as I now refer to it, Nazi Germany. In sports, distance runner Jutta Pippig set a record by winning her 3rd consecutive Boston Marathon, despite suffering from both her period and diarrhea throughout the 26-mile run. In addition, Pippig also set a record for causing the most spectators to make this face at a Boston Marathon. Well, Jocelyn Elder's new book, Jocelyn Elder's MD, came out this week. I read it. After closing out a successful first season, the WNBA is considering several changes to improve the level of play in the league next year. Among the proposals, extending the playoffs, increasing salaries, bringing back the three-point line, and replacing all the female players with guys. The WNBA officials expanded to 10 teams this week, adding franchises in Detroit, and Washington, D.C. But before you get too excited about the new additions to the league, remember, all of the players are still women. They stink at basketball. That's the problem. Other than that, it'd be a good, good game, but they're...
The next time I watch a WNBA game will be the first time I watch a WNBA game. Hey, WNBA, I got an idea that'll sell some tickets, shirts and skins.
It was a bad week for the restaurant chain Hooters. The company has been forced to pay $3.75 million to settle a sex discrimination suit brought by male job applicants who claim that its policy of hiring only women is unfair. The settlement was hailed as a landmark case for guys who try to ruin everything. According to a new survey by the Women's Vote Project, women would be more likely to vote if they could send in ballots by mail or if polls were open longer. Also, more women would vote if you were permitted to bake your vote. They like to bake. Safer drivers, men or women? Well, according to a new survey, 55% of adults feel that women are most responsible for minor fender benders, while 78% blame men for most fatal crashes. Please note that the percentage in these pie graphs do not add up to 100% because the math was done by a woman. For those of you hissing at that joke, it should be noted that that joke was written by a woman. So now you don't know what the hell to do. No, I'm just kidding. We don't hire women.
Here, Adam, do a joke. All right. A good name for a dog is Syndrome. That then when he tries to attack someone, you can yell "Down, Syndrome."
Don't laugh.
It's not.
I apologize.
I mean, it's yeah.
That's like
it was a little insensitive, I guess.
Some of the 200 Nigerian schoolgirls kidnapped by extremists in Nigeria have been forced to marry their kidnappers. And worse than that, they've been forced to laugh at their husbands' stories, even after hearing them for the umpteenth time.
You know something.
Yeah, I know.
It's very hard to make a joke about those girls who are kidnapped. When I hear about those things, that is one of the worst. You know,
and yet you got a big laugh out of yours.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got it.
Now, as an old-timey broadcaster, do you have other old-timey broadcaster friends?
Well, they did. Mike Wallace was a great friend. Mike was a grand guy. I said, he had dementia at the end. That's funny to you. You know, McDonald, I want to tell you.
No, it's a very odd thing to say.
If you're looking to broaden your horizons, I don't think it's wise to laugh at someone who had dementia.
I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing that you said.
He was
you
the best.
Just said.
I loved him.
Mike Wallace was a great guy. He had dementia at the end. It has heavy-duty grilling grates. Why are you laughing? You think the grilling grates are flimsy?
No.
No, they're heavy-duty grilling grates. They deliver exactly what you need to achieve when you need to achieve that perfect steakhouse flavor. Why are you laughing? You're making a mockery out of the man grate.
I'm pretending I know who Albert Gray is. I didn't.
No, Albert Fish.
Oh.
You're a New Yorker. So anyways, he was a child rapist and cannibal, as I explained.
When he's a child rapist, you try not to laugh when he looks at you.
Oh, come on, man. It's not funny.
I know it's not, but I know you want people to laugh.
Fish chose his victims. He only chose victims who were either mentally handicapped. Now, don't laugh at this next part, please.
But you know he wants you to, right?
No. If you laugh at this next part.
Okay. And I'm not
Fish chose victims who were either mentally handicapped or African American. Oh, come on. Why would you think that's funny? God damn, Fred. Jesus Christ, that was the worst part of the story. But why do you think he did that? What would be the explanation? Why would he only attack? Why would his victims that he chose only be either mentally handicapped or African Americans?
Because people in those days didn't care when those people were vanished.
You're right. Thinking like Albert Fish now.
And prostitutes. That's why they kill
That's right.
prostitutes.
Exactly. Nobody really cares about prostitutes. But you're exactly right. That's why Albert Fish killed only mentally handicapped and African Americans.
What about? Okay.
I thought you'd laugh at African Americans again. That they were.
No, because I know him. I know he'll do something. That's outrageous. How
It's kind of outrageous. Hey, for the 9th consecutive year, Nick, JetBlue Airlines ranked first for satisfaction among all North American airlines. But you know what ranked least in satisfaction? 9/11 Airlines. What a terrible name for an airline. It reminds me of that tragedy.
Oh, 9/11.
You know, don't laugh at 9/11 again. 9/11. I tried to tell him not to laugh.
Adam.
I know. I walked through blood and bones in the streets of Manhattan trying to find my brother.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was in northern Canada. Do you want to hear my impression of the
That's going to be you if you don't lose weight.
You want to hear my impression of the 9/11 call from Johnny Carson?
911 call.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. But 9/11 was a national tragedy.
Yes, it was.
Why'd you laugh at that?
You said it.
Johnny Carson died at 80 years old.
Okay, Johnny Carson died at 80 years old. Would you like to hear my impression? Were you in New York when the Twin Towers fell?
No, I was in Los Angeles.
Well, either way, it was a national tragedy. It was.
Yeah, I know.
9/11. We're going to go to hell. Adam Eager told me something I didn't know. He said you worked with Red Fox on a variety.
Yeah, I heard that. I'm dying to hear.
I produced Red Fox variety.
You told me he just worked on it.
Worked on it.
Well, that's. I mean, according to your
What do you
Wikipedia
think I was, a
page.
stagehand, you douchebag? Worked on it. Did you do your notes?
No,
I want
got
you
all my
back on
information
drugs.
from
I'm
Wikipedia.
serious. I
Yeah,
want you back on stuff so you
This
know.
close. I'm gonna do a shot
I'm
next
sorry,
break.
that's
No,
just-
it's
I'm
true.
just teasing
No,
you.
I'm Adam Egat. I work at the world famous Comedy Store. I'm the manager over there. Before that, I was a manager at the Tempe Improv, and I don't know what I'm doing, I'll be honest, and I'm not an actor, I'm not a comedian, but I'm just gonna try my best, and I'm gonna do the best I can, and I hope the people watching at home will give me a chance to I don't know, just give me a chance.
So how do the other comics feel? Like you're at the Comedy Store, you're
Right.
running the Comedy Store.
Exactly.
And they're all there working on their comedy, hoping to maybe someday break into television.
They're not happy.
Yeah, like
a
what-
lot of them are in my ear. They're
Yeah.
like, you know what you should do? You should get me in there. You clearly don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
You're not happy about
Adam's
it.
very nervous about the whole
I'm a
venture.
wreck. I'm a fucking wreck.
No, I think it's hilarious. It's
He may start drinking
No problem.
I probably will start drinking.
I just think that maybe a lot of people at the office might be pissed about this whole thing.
You would not be wrong.
Yeah.
You know, one of my followers on my Twitter, Pikesville Al, you know Pikesville Al?
No.
He's the guy that doesn't like you.
Oh yeah, you told
Does
me
he
about
live in
that guy.
Pikesville, Maryland?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the thing about Larry King. He knows every.
I know everything.
Absolutely.
Everything you
From the
don't
show.
need to know.
That's a broadcast.
So who's a sponsor?
A sponsor?
Pikesville, Nick. Who's
Pikesville Al does not like him.
Many people don't.
I did this video podcast they wanted me to do, and I said I should get a sidekick, like just pretend it's a talk show.
Yeah.
And but I didn't want, I wanted somebody. I wanted to make the host sidekick relationship just way magnified, to what it was with Carson and Ed McMahon. So just a guy I could pile onto, and I didn't want any blowback, so I didn't want to get a comic that would joke back at me.
Right.
So I did the podcast with them, and they turned out to be perfect. But it was in a kind of a self-fulfilling thing. Like in the second episode we did a little comedy bit where I said, we got some letters from people, comments, and they're pretty good for the most part. And then I read them, and it'd be like, this guy says, because the first show was me and Super Dave. This guy says, it was great to see Norm and Super Dave, two comic heavyweights, sparring together. Lose the douchebag. And so that. I loved this podcast. It was great to see Norm MacDonald back, and Super Dave was the perfect choice as first guest. Lose the douchebag.
He's talking about me.
Well, we don't know if he's talking about you.
He's clearly talking about me.
He is talking about you. This is just one person's opinion, but I have hundreds of other people.
All right, you're right. It's one guy, he's entitled to his opinion, and that's fine, whatever.
And mostly they like the show.
Well, good. Well, let's hear another one then.
All right.
Let's hear another one.
What's the deal with that fucking douchebag? Well, that was about you. Second one was like, I love the show, everybody was great, but lose cunt face.
I did this as a favor to Norm. I'm not an actor and I'm not a comedian.
This guy says your face looks like a cunt.
I can't even change that. It's not the first time I've heard that, but I mean.
And so, anyways, it became self-fulfilling, and then everybody started actually doing it. And so I kind of felt sorry for Adam. He's like, every week I read these messages, and they're just all, now my nickname is Cunt Face, like on the message boards.
And he's just this sweet guy. He's like the most sincere guy in the world.
No, yeah, he's very, very earnest and sweet. Thoroughly enjoyed it from top to bottom.
Great.
Blinky91 says. A sparkling exchange between veteran funny man Norm MacDonald and comedy legend Super Dave Osborne. One minor problem. The set.
Oh.
It's just too distracting. Why are there so many clocks? We're not tuning in to see what time it is in Hong Kong. We're tuning in to listen to comedians doing comedy. Plus some douchebag, I don't know who he was, but I'd like to punch him right in the fucking face. Not good. Okay. Let me see here. Ooh.
What is it? Is it a good? Is it a good one?
It's not good at all. I found one.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Okay.
This is a positive one. Thoroughly enjoyed it from top to bottom.
Great.
Blinky91 says. A sparkling exchange between veteran funny man Norm MacDonald and comedy legend Super Dave Osborne. One minor problem. The set.
Oh.
It's just too distracting. Why are there so many clocks? We're not tuning in to see what time it is in Hong Kong. We're tuning in to listen to comedians doing comedy. Plus some douchebag, I don't know who he was, but I'd like to punch him right in the fucking face. Okay.
I mean,
we don't need to know what the people think.
well, no, I mean, it's hard, Norm. It's hard. I'm not used, I'm not.
What kind of computer do you have?
It's a Mac, Norm. It's a Mac.
Mine's a Dell. I like a Dell.
I know, we covered that.
There's one piece here I thought you might find interesting. Is Joan Rivers. You were talking about some old
Joan
comedians.
Rivers.
She's old.
She's old, but she's great.
Just kidding.
Still great. Yeah, still great. But she makes her living, lambasting celebrities.
What'd she do?
She
Lamb what?
Basting.
Lambasting?
Basting. Yeah. Celebrities and.
We might want to put a hard thing over the A.
Yeah, I apologize.
That's
I'm trying to rush through this. We don't have a lot, and
all right, we'll spell it all phonetically from now on.
I did that with one of the guys' names here.
Okay, we'll get to it.
She lambasted the Adele.
I love
the
Adele.
British
You ever
pop
heard Adele?
singer Adele.
I heard it for her, and I
Voice like a
great pipes
She has great pipes.
and lungs too.
Oh, she's a good singer. Yes.
and lungs too.
Rivers.
Would only work if she was a pipe smoker. What? Okay, good.
Anyway, Joan Rivers, she called Adele, who's 24 years old, chubby while visiting David Letterman on The Late Show.
Oh.
And wisecracked. She sang live and said, my throat, I don't know if I can swallow. And I said, oh, you can swallow.
Oh, come on.
What is her song? Rolling in the Deep? She should add fried chicken.
This is what she said on Letterman?
This is what Joan Rivers said on Letterman about Adele. Rivers didn't back down from her comments, though she revealed Adele confronted her about it. She's a chubby lady who's...
Okay, I don't want to hear any more of this. Because Adele is one of my most favorite people.
Really?
Well, she's talented, she's rich, and she's almost as fat as me. I like, I'm a big fat guy now. And I don't want to be seen with thin ladies, And then people will think it's... But, look, I know it's wrong to objectify women. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
But in our sexual fantasies, I think we do, as men, objectify women, don't we? I always think of Adele, like down on her hands and knees with an apple in her mouth.
So, but that's better.
Better than what?
That's objectifying her.
Yes, I'm saying I think we do that as men.
Okay.
We objectify women, don't we?
Yeah.
What? Don't we? I like Adele. Is there anything wrong with that?
Hey, I like the ladies.
I like Adele. I like a woman who knows her way around a funnel cake.
I thought the joke was...
What about Josie?
How about the joke should be, Adele is mad at Joan Rivers and crushed her. Tipped over and fell on her. Hey, don't mention that name.
I would love to see Adele in concert.
Oh, I thought it was a sexual...
Oh, no. I'd also love to see her on my toilet eating a Reuben.
No, I like chunky women because they're accessible. I don't have crushes. Oh, the Playboy centerfold. Ooh. I like to fantasize someone either I've been with or who tells me they're wet.
Kathy Griffin.
And they're fat.
Yes, because
So you're like me, but you're thin still.
I got a gut.
You got a gut, isn't it weird? Because I used to be thinner than, I'm not thinner than you, but about the same.
I know, we never thought we'd go, is this fat free or?
Yeah.
Well, I was so skinny growing up, not a joke, but I used to want to go to, my fantasy was I'd go to sleepaway camp, be 300 pounds, and no one would recognize me. It's really sucked being skinny. It was no joke. I'm being serious.
Maybe if you're thin, that's why you're attracted sometimes to fat women.
No, you know what the thing is? Now it's cool to be thin. You're a brooding Rick Ocasek animator. Yeah, you have your head. You know what I mean. Now it's cool.
Nowadays, it's cool to Rick Ocasek.
Still hip.
I'm like this dad who he's 60 but he thinks he knows references. I could mix it up with the kids. I know Marilyn Manson and I know about anime.
Holy shit! Your dad knows about anime?
No. My friend who's 60.
I went to see an Adele concert.
And there was only room for 3 people in the back.
Oh, come on.
Meaning she takes out the, no, but that's what he does. He shocks outrage, and then he does fat jokes.
No, I'm not doing fat jokes.
Well,
he genuinely would like to see
all I
you.
said was I went to see an Adele concert.
Oh.
And what's the joke?
There's no joke. It was disappointing.
Why?
Because she sang a song and the concert immediately stopped.
Why? Because of the occupancy limits?
No,
That was one of my
it's not over
thrills.
till when the fat lady sings. I think.
I thought it could be 80 or more people is dangerous and unlawful. And I thought, meaning
Oh
she
my
took up 80
God.
of them.
You are something else. I thought.
Norm has a CD. It's called Norm MacDonald. Ridiculous. It's coming out September 12th. It's a comedy CD, of course. And you got some famous people, a.k.a. friends of yours, to do some bits on there with you. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Some of my friends did it. So it was
Will
fun.
Ferrell, correct?
Yeah, the great Will Ferrell was in it. He was kind enough to do it.
Molly Shannon?
Yes, the great Molly Shannon was in it. She was kind enough. Some of this will be repetitious.
Is Tim Meadows great, or is he superb?
Tim Meadows is a real talent.
You got John Lovitz on there?
Yeah.
You ever see that guy play softball, by the way? Speaking of baseball and hats, you ever see him hit the ball?
I've seen him do stand-up. He tried starting stand-up when he was 50.
Really? What about those Subway commercials? That's kind of...
Yeah, it's great. He got a catchphrase for the first time in 18 years.
And what's the catchphrase?
Eat fresh.
Oh, eat fresh. And he gets to wear a bathrobe on TV. I buy Subway sandwiches.
No, he's a really funny guy. He's hysterical.
How long...
Up here. Yeah, no, I listened to that show, actually.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What happened the time you and Norm MacDonald played tennis? There's a story that he showed up in a leather jacket and jeans.
Yeah, I know. I know. He tells that story, and I don't know why he's so into it.
Oh, it's
But I play
a
tennis
funny
all the
visual.
time.
It's a funny visual. Him
Well,
dressed
it's-
like
it's-
that.
What he left out is that we're playing, and he I play all the time. He never plays, right? But he can get the ball, but he dinks it back, and he has no rhythm. Anyway, when someone just floats every ball, if you're not used to it, you can't get any rhythm, and it's just hard to play. So he won, but what he left out was after every point, he'd leave the court for a minute and brag to his assistant about how, look what just happened. Then he'd come back 1 point, he'd leave again. So I go, Norm, do you want to play? And he just kept leaving. It was very frustrating, and so he won. So then I said to my coach, I go, how do you beat a guy like that? It's so frustrating. The ball's just, and my teacher's guy, Alex Olmedo, who's you're into sports, look him up. He was a champion college player, Wimbledon champion, Rod Laver, Emerson, who won Wimbledon, and he's in the Hall of Fame from Peru. Great guy. So he said, just step in and take it early. And I go, could you beat someone like that? He goes, are you kidding? I'd kill him. I go, all right, fine. So then we played again, and then I just, I creamed him and I beat him. So also, I wasn't trying as hard the first set because he was, he's not as good, so I'm just taking it easy. But then
And he was wearing jeans and a leather jacket.
Well, he beat you 6-0 the first time, didn't he?
6-0?
No, he wasn't wearing. I don't remember what he was wearing. He didn't beat me 6-0. He's full of crap.
That's what he told him.
So then we played again, and then I beat him quite easily. And he goes, let's play again. I said, no, I don't play you again. Because when I knew he'd want to play after I beat him, the last time we played, I beat him, and that's that.
Give us a good league
but
of
he
the...
cheats. He
Yeah,
cheats, and
of
he's
course he
not
does.
fun to play with.
Of course.
So he tells this story,
Right. Give us a good league of their own story. Lovitz! Just back off for a second.
Yeah, he's being Lovitz. This is what Lovitz does.
I know.
man.
This is what he does. Him and Norm, both of them. Give us a good league of their own story.
Try and crack your code every day. Thinking about every word that we.
John Lovitz, what is that?
No, I played tennis with John Lovitz. Goes every day to the Beverly Wilshire Well, it's an expensive Beverly Hills hotel. I don't know what it's called. But anyways, the guy there, the coach, is Alex Olmedo, who's a Peruvian tennis player from old, and he's very good. He played, he beat Ron Laver 3 times.
Right.
And so he's 60 or whatever, but
a Peruvian 60. You know?
Does that mean he's a young 60 or
yeah,
an old 60?
a
He's
handsome,
a young 60.
Yes, sexy.
Peruvian 60, I like that.
Yeah, Peruvian 60. So you could still imagine him with a lady. You know what I mean? Like my father when he was 60, it would be hard to imagine.
Yeah.
But a Peruvian, you know, you can imagine. You can easily imagine. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because my father, he doesn't know. You know, he'd get you a Casio watch to a lady. That would be his thing. But these guys, they're more champagne on your spine, my darling. You know, it's a whole different thing. Anyways, so it has nothing to do with his way with the ladies, the story. But John Lovitz got lessons from him every single day at this hotel.
Yeah.
You know? So then he told me that he was really good at tennis. So I was like, I could beat you.
You just assume you can beat John Lovitz in anything, right?
Yeah. Because I played tennis 4 times.
Yeah.
I figured that's about what it would take to beat John Lovitz. So I said, yeah, I'll play it, you know. And he goes, you'll never beat me. I play everybody. What are you talking about? I go, no, I'll play anything you want. So I go to the place, and I'm in my jeans and a leather jacket. I don't have clothes for tennis. I've only played 4 times. So I get there, and they give me a club and everything and a tennis racket. And I know, clearly I'm going to beat John Lovitz. So we start playing, and, you know, I just keep tinking them over a little bit, you know, the little backspin, you know, near the net, whatever that shot's called. So Lovitz lumbers over, you know, and he can never get to it, you know. And so I just beat him like 6-0 in the first set. So he starts thinking I'm doing something illegal by tinking it over the net.
The backspin backhand or whatever? Yeah.
He's never seen this. He thinks you're supposed to hit it to him.
Oh.
So he starts complaining because he's like, I play Alex and I can beat him. He's talking about beating Alex Olmedo, the pro, the tennis
60-year-old Peruvian. Yeah.
He thinks. So I said, well, what? He goes, I beat him. I play him every day. You know. And I go, well, Lovitz, this, you know, a tennis pro is one of their big skills is they hit the ball so it will land on your racket.
Right.
You know, so wherever you're standing, the ball is right there. You know.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's not true. You know. Then he was convinced that I could beat Alex Olmedo. He said, you've never seen anything like this, Alex. He tinks it over the net. So this is Lovitz. So then I played, and then he wanted to really win, you know, and he kept playing me, and I said, oh, God. So one day I was like, he was just getting so angry and everything, so I let him win 1 game.
Yeah.
And then he quit. He retired.
On top.
Yeah, calling himself the champ.
Like John Elway.
Yeah, exactly. He won 1 game. He goes, doesn't matter. So whoever won last. That's what they do in boxing. And I was saying, well, boxing, they do have to defend them, but whatever.
That's funny.
Guys, what's up, man? Hi. Yeah, man, it's live. It's Saturday night. You guys have a bunch of twinkly things. They didn't tell me everything before I got out here. They didn't tell me that there'd be twinkling things. But I can deal with it. But no, listen, I was, it harkened me back listening to the beautiful speaking, like, you know, because I remember that, you know, it's 8 o'clock, and do you know where your children's at and stuff? And it harkened back to me, because a half hour earlier, I was saying the same thing. I was in the restaurant. I was like, 7:30, man. Anybody know where my pork chop is? You ever try to get a pork chop at this joint? I mean, you guys like pork? You don't like pork? Call yourself Americans? No, listen. I'll tell you something about this restaurant. I don't know about in here if you get special stuff, but where I was eating, I asked for a Coca-Cola because that's my favorite drink, you know. I go, hey, man, can I have a Coca-Cola? And they say, we don't got that. We got Pepsi-Cola. I was like, oh. And this is a new thing that's happening, I've noticed, across the country. I'd like to get to the bottom of it because Coca-Cola is a delicious drink. And oftentimes, you go to a town, you go, hey, man, where do I go to get a Coke? And they're like, yeah, not here, fella. You know? They have their towns that Pepsi has somehow, even though Coke, and people, see, they think in their minds, they think that if your favorite drink in the entire world is Coca-Cola, then your second favorite drink will be Pepsi-Cola, which is flawed reasoning. Actually, if your first favorite drink is Coca-Cola, your least favorite drink is Pepsi-Cola. That's how it works. And you can tell they're kind of ashamed of you. You got a Coke? They're like, nah, Pepsi. They give you a lot of that. Is that okay? So you go, no, I don't want that. What else you got? You got any other soda? And then when they got the Pepsi, they always have these weird other sodas. They go, oh, yeah, we got different. We got, you like root beer? We got that. And you're like, well, I'm not 8. I don't know. We got Diet Pepsi. Why are you even asking me that? I just said. We got Sierra Mist. Oh, I'm glad, man. I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to ask, but I didn't dare, because every time I go, they don't have it. But that's my favorite drink. You go to a restaurant, you go, hey, here's the whitefish. What do you want with that? You got any Sierra Mist? Give me that. What? No Sierra Mist. What kind of hen house horse shit is this? Trying to run a joint here? What kind of business? Honey, get your coat. I'll get the car. I'll bring the car around. You get your coat. I have Sierra Mist. Can you believe these characters? Kind of a. But no, I had a pork. I had a nice, delicious piece of pork, a pork chop, Pork, I don't know. I don't think it's that good for you, but I like it. I'm pretty sure it's not good for you because it's a pig. But I like it. Anything with a snout, I don't think you're supposed to eat. I think that may be in the scriptures. I'm not sure, but I recall something about that. My doctor has me on a snoutless diet right now. He says I got to exercise every day, aerobics and latissimus dorsi, all that shit, get my back and everything, and then no snouts. But no, my friend, let me tell you something. My friend, who is a vegetarian, she's a girl, like all vegetarians are, and you don't mean a lot of dudes, But anyway, she was talking to me about the vegetarianism stuff, right? Now, have you ever had this experience where you think something's right your whole life, and then in a moment, in a flash, you realize you've been wrong about everything you've ever believed ever. Not everything, but that one thing. By the way, if you ever wake up and you realize you've been wrong about everything in your entire life, that's not a good day, then. You may as well go down to the rope store and buy yourself a length of rope. Then go down to the stool store, get yourself a nice stool. Then you go over to the notepad store, you buy yourself a notepad. Then you get a pen. You only really need 4 things. Must be hard to write those notes. What, I'm supposed to write it on this little thing? Everything that drove me to end my life? I don't know where to start. But, anyways, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, pork. No, because my friend, who's a vegetarian, this girl, she was telling me, we always argue because she's a vegetarian and I am not a vegetarian. And so she has her opinions and I have my opinions. And I realized that her opinions are actually stronger than my opinions. Like she'll say to me, she goes, you can't eat, animals because they're God's creatures too. You know what I mean? And you shouldn't destroy another creature of our great God just so that you could have a frivolous meal that would not be necessary. You can't extinguish the life of a, And then I go, I like pork. That's my. So that's not a good argument at all. So anyways, the upshot of it is that people can change, thank God, through the glory of God, people can come to changes in life. And I am now a vegetarian, so that's nice, Thank you very much. I'm not a strict vegetarian, I eat meat, but I am a vegetarian, but not a strict one. I only eat meat. You know what I don't like is vegetables. I can't eat those. I can't stand eating vegetables. So in the strictest term, strictest use of the word, strict, I'm not a strict vegetarian. But you know what she does, my friend that is a vegetarian? She makes this thing every Thanksgiving. I don't know if you've ever eaten this. It's called a tofurkey. Tofu. It's an unwieldy word. No one likes to hear it. But it's a turkey, but it's not really a turkey. Sounds like a turkey because it's got a lot of the same letters. But what they do is they take tofu, you see, and then they fashion it into the countenance of a turkey. Which doesn't fool me. And also, I don't understand why she does it on account of she's making it into the thing that she doesn't want to eat in the first place. That seems... I would not do that, Like I'm against cannibalism, As you all know, as any of you know that follow me on the Google space, WW. I have gone across this country with my anti-cannibal stance, talking to people from one side of this great nation to the other. Every year I put my toe in the Pacific and I travel this great land with my anti-cannibal message. Mostly the young people. I try to educate the young people. I go to the schools and I go, listen, you might think that you're going to be the cool guy because you eat a dude friend of yours, And maybe you will for a couple of years, Maybe you'll be the big man on campus. Oh, that's Jim. He ate a fella. But there's more to it than that. No, I use my time for you know what I do? I do a lot of charity work for things that people, I don't like arguing with people, when they have another opinion than me. So what I do is I pick very popular opinions and then I work for those people. Like, for instance, there was, the landmine big thing? Princess Diana, one of the greatest people who ever lived, she was against landmines. So tragically, she died, before her landmine crusade really got rolling, And of course, it was a terrible tragedy and everything like that. And then she died. And so I am, hey, how about this? Remember when she died? And then Elton John wrote that song for her, but it was the same song that he wrote for Marilyn Monroe? It seems like kind of a jip. But the king's like, hey, man, you wrote a song for my daughter? I don't know if there's a king. You wrote a song for Princess Diana? Yes. Well, you already? She just died an hour ago. Yeah, I wrote it. I wrote it. And here it is. She lived her life like a candle in the wind. Wait a minute. It sounds like that song you wrote about Marilyn Monroe. Well, it's a little bit. Some of the same words. Why'd you do that? Because they're similar when you think about it. Come on. Marilyn Monroe, she was taking crazy drugs and promiscuous, running around. Man, you never knew if she was going to live or die. She's just living her life crazy like a candle in the wind, And Princess Di, she lived in a castle. But, they're sort of the same. They were blonde. I got to go. But anyways, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, that I am very against landmines. So I will go and I will make, I'll go to protests, and I'll have a big sign that says, no more landmines. Because if you don't know about landmines, hey, you're educating me about stuff tonight. I'll educate you a little about landmines, because there's many different causes, And landmines are terrible. What they are is they put them underneath the earth, and then you step on them, and they blow you up. So I go there, and I protest against them. And what's fun about it is there's very few counter-protesters. There's a couple of guys out there, but clearly these guys are in the pocket of the, big landmine companies in this country. I don't mean to get all Bill Maher on you or anything, but if you think that the landmine companies in this country care about you, the little person, they don't care about you. They care about blowing you up when you're not expecting it. That's how they make their money. No, whatever. But, no, I was going to say she makes this tofu. And what I was going to say was that as a anti-cannibal guy, it would never occur to me to do the same thing as she does with her tofurkey. I would not take all my delicious cheese sandwiches and fashion them into the shape of some old rotting corpse of some dude and then eat that. That would make it less tasty than the cheese sandwich itself, to me. But listen, it's easy to go around saying, hey, I'm against cannibalism. Oh, I'm anti-cannibalism. Look at me. I'm better than everybody else, I know it's easy to say because I say it every day to people. But actually, when you think about it, you don't really know how you're going to, how your cannibalism beliefs are going to stand up under when it comes up. Because you'll notice in life, cannibalism rarely comes up. There's always some cheese sandwiches around you can find, But what about when you're in the Andes? Well, then all bets are off. You have to wrestle with your conscience because you're in the Andes. I don't even know why people go to the Andes, but they do. They go, hey, listen, travel agent, me and the wife, Ruth, Ruth, we're going, we got to get away from the kids again this year. We got to go to Ireland. We were hoping something on the other side of the Andes. Anything you got there? We just want to relax, lay on a hammock or something, and we want to go to a nice place that is separated from where we are now by the Andes. And Get any small planes? We like flying in small aerofoils. In the dead of winter. You got anything like that? And they're like, yeah. So you get on the plane, and 20 minutes later you crash into a mountain, because everyone knows it's on the boarding pass. It says, layover, a mountain. So you crash into the mountain, and then, you gotta wrestle with your conscience, because, you're down there, and the guy in 24E is looking pretty delicious. And so days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into months. Months, you know how time works, right? I don't have to explain everything. Then becomes now. So and then you have to wrestle with your conscience because you're like, my conscience. And your conscience is very, if you don't want to wrestle with your conscience because, So, although it's not as hard as wrestling with an actual wrestler. High five. If you have your choice between wrestling with your conscience and wrestling with a professionally trained wrestler, I'd take the conscience because it doesn't even have arms. And for wrestling, like the headlock is the biggest move. If you don't have arms. So anyways, you're wrestling with your conscience and you're like, oh man, should I eat that guy in 24E? I don't know. It looks pretty good, but I don't think it's right and all this stuff. And then time goes on and you get, and instead of just acting right away, which would probably be the smarter thing, you wait way too long and months pass and then you go crazy and then you go after Frank, that's his name, in 24E, and you're just, you're so hungry now, you're tearing into him, you're like, Frank, blood all over you and everything, Anyways, and that's the last, and this is what you don't want to happen at that point, is for the rescue plane to come over at that very moment, Well, you're like, what the? They're like, we have hamburgers and hot dogs here in the plane. And delicious cheese sandwiches, everything you want here. You're like, what? A lot of snow. Oh, Lord God. Let me get a drink of this water. You like water? It's better than that Pepsi shit. Ow. Water's good for you. What about guys? You ever just have guys that have their favorite water? They're like, Fiji, that's what I drink. Water, Fiji water. It's the most tasteless, colorless water of all. This one has 0 fat, like I'm a retard. Like I wouldn't be able to detect globules of fat in my water. It's cyanide-free. No, but listen, man. I'm not afraid of no monsters, we spend, when you think about it, man, we spend most of our adult life petrified of monsters, And I'm just coming to I'm saying enough, man. I'm not gonna live under the tyranny of these monsters that walk among us, If they get me, they get me. And some of them I don't even know what's so scary about them. Like now they got a movie I've seen, Wolfman, which is very scary, right? A Wolfman. They got a movie, and it's like a werewolf. I think it's exactly the same. I'm not sure. I haven't studied it close enough. But I believe, like, if a Wolfman came at you and stuff, you went, werewolf! People wouldn't go, it's a Wolfman, you idiot. But My point is this. I am not afraid of a wolf man or a werewolf because when you think about what they are, they're half man and half wolf. So therefore, I am only half afraid of them as I am of a wolf. And there's no movie called The Wolf. See, if you got a wolf man, half the time he's a man. You can reason with him. Yeah? You can sit down, have a cheese sandwich. But a wolf, man, you can't reason with a wolf. A wolf only wants to eat you. So I'm not afraid of a werewolf. I'm not afraid of ghosts. They don't scare me, you know? Not at all. I mean, I don't want to say I'm invulnerable to fear, but they simply don't frighten me. You know? First of all, what do? You know? They just go, ah, which that's not that scary to me. Yeah? And then they're invisible. They're like, ah, and you're like, what? You're invisible. You can put your hand through them. That kind of a person never frightens me. You know the kind of guys that frighten me? You ever meet those guys where you can't put your hand through them? I don't care for those fellas. But when I can put my hand through them, doesn't scare me in the least. This is how unscary they are. I was at a hotel a couple of weeks ago. In the lobby, they were saying they were bragging about there was a ghost in the hotel. You know, how scary can that be? You know what I mean? They're like, oh, every night, Mary with the blue dress. That was her nickname. She was murdered, and she hangs around the bed. You know what I mean? And she'll come over, and so beware, oh, because Mary with the blue dress. Which was her nickname, which was an odd nickname, because you'd think her nickname would be Mary the Ghost. You know. When they came time to pick out her nickname, you know, I think they were like, oh. They go, hey, what do you notice about Mary that makes her distinctive? We got to come up with a nickname for her. I know she wears a lot of blue dresses. She seems to have an affinity toward blue dresses. You're talking about Mary, right? The transparent lady? So I would call her Mary the Ghost. And anyways. And all they seem to do is complain, these ghosts. You ever notice that? I was like, I can't. Everything's wrong. They're never happy or nothing, you know? They're like, something bad happened to me. And if I don't get it cleared up, I have to travel all through the world in pain and sorrow, you know? And then I'm like, well, I do too. What the hell? At least you get to walk through walls and stuff. You get to do cool stuff. I think I'll have some more water. I love water. You know, I used to do news on Saturday Night Live, and sometimes people think I know something about news. That's the funny part, because I don't know anything about news. And, like, I'll watch it on the TV, and I don't know what they're talking about, you know. And but I watch it all the time, you know. I'll turn on the TV, and then they go, welcome, the deficit. And I go, ha, ha, ha. I've heard that word before. Yeah, that's about all I know. But I watch it. You don't have to know about everything, you know. When I was young, you didn't have to know about anything. Now you have to know about everything. Everybody got an opinion and stuff. Yeah. You're supposed to know about every single... One guy asked me a couple weeks ago, he goes, Norm, how do you feel about stem cell research? I was like, me? Why don't I go to scientist school for 10 years, and then I'll come back here to this very spot, and I'll tell you what those 3 words mean. I don't know. I don't know. That's mostly my answers. And a lot of people don't know. Like you'll see on if you ever watch the news, you ever see the news? It's on at 6. they show the news, right? And they'll have a question. And a lot of people don't know, just like me. They'll have a question. They'll show a pie chart. So they'll say, does President Barack Obama deficit reduction, question mark, something like that. And then they show a pie chart, so you go, oh, man, that looks like a pie. You get happy. And then they have like it cut up, and they'll say like 47% yes, 48% no, 5% I don't know. So that's like me, There's no shame in that. No shame at all. Well, I phone them every time there's one of those things on CNN, like one of those polls. I phone up. I want to get on that pie chart. I phone up. I go, hello, excuse me. Is this the TV? Yeah, you just asked me a question. I don't know. How the hell am I supposed to know? I didn't even understand most of the words in the question. What's that cost? $1.50? Is that what it said at the start of it? Excellent. All right. I better get on that pie chart. I'll tell you that. I'm not a guy to throw away 12 bits on, on nothing. To tell you be quite honest with you, nothing. Oh, look at that. So, I don't know a lot about stuff, Like sometimes when I go to parties and stuff, because everybody got opinions and stuff like that, what I'll do is I go to parties not to talk opinions with people and elevate myself or anything like that. I go to parties to try to get me some free sandwiches, because I find at parties often you can find, if you look, cheese sandwiches for free. And often what they do is they'll put other stuff in it. You have to take it out, so you just get the cheese. But whatever, it's free. And but the other people I notice, they go there to converse and talk of the issues of the day and so forth like that at the parties. And I don't like that kind of stuff, So I tried, and I don't know anything. See what I mean? So what I'll do is before I go to the party, I just turn on the TV, on one of them channels with news. And then there's a guy with a suit and a tie. I just say whatever he says. I'll say that at the party. And it usually works. I'll just go to the party and everybody will be yapping. They'll be like, deficit and health care, trillion, billion. Then I go, yeah. Hey, I got an opinion. Listen to this now. I blame the media. Because the media is not entirely without fault when you think about it. I mean, you can't just completely say that the media. Anybody seen them sandwiches? A fellow over there was telling me there were sandwiches where they cut the crusts off and they're in triangles. Fellow over there. And he said they had toothpicks with frilly toothpicks in them. None of yous. Not a single one of yous. All right, fair enough. But I have a thing, I have a thing where I can judge guys that are at my own smartness level. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if you ever got caught talking to a smart guy. You ever have that happen to you? That's not a lot of fun. Like you're at a party and you're at that kitchen part where there's that big square thing. I don't even know what it is, but you're all standing around, and then there's 5 of you and 3 of you leave, and it's just you and the smart guy, and the guy's got a pipe or something. He's like, anyway, how about that leader from the foreign country? What about his name? You're like, I'm going to go ahead and look for them sandwiches, but I'm coming back to talk to you. I'm not running away, if that's what you think. I'm not going to run out that side door right over there and run full speed down the street. I don't think that. No. So what I do, I have a very good, I can go to my own, you know what I mean? The people that are at my smartness levels. So if I'm in a party, right, I can go right into the party and immediately, like they say gay guys have gaydar, they can sense other gay people. I'm like that with guys of my dumb level. I can walk up, I can just go, immediately I'll say, hey, I bet I can keep up with that guy over there. I'm Then I make a beeline over for that character. And then we talk about, Jughead comics or something for a while. I don't know. We have a grand old time. And I try to pocket a couple of cheese sandwiches and take off. But it's hard to talk to anybody just in regular life, I don't know how to do it, especially like one-on-one, like talking, It's so hard with people, like my friend was saying, you got to listen. That's the most important thing in a conversation. Listen to the person that's talking to you. But that's not enough, because eventually that other guy will stop talking. I'm good at that part. But, and then you go, oh, sorry, I forgot to think of something to say there. You keep talking, and the next time you stop, I'll say something. So you got to do two things at once. So you got to listen to the guy, everything he's saying, plus anything he says that you may know something about, you got to keep that in your head for when he stops talking. You know what I mean? So maybe he's yapping, and all of a sudden he mentions Fonzie or something like that, right? So then, in the back of your head, you go, hey, wait a second, I know something about Fonzie. So as this idiot stops talking, I'll say my Fonzie thing. Excellent. Excellent. Doodly-doo, doodly-doo. Doodly-doodly-doo. Ah. Peace. So this is what it feels like, huh? Doo-doo-doodly-doo. And then maybe the guy changes the subject. You're like, whoa, 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 whoa! Hold on a second there. Wait a minute. No, it's interesting what you're saying now. It's interesting. Hey, but what about then? Remember then? It was earlier than now? You were talking about Fonzie. Yeah, anyways. Interesting thing about Fonzie is this. It's not his real name. Arthur Fonzarelli. That's a true fact, man. You could Google that up on the W. All right, you talk for a while now. It goes on from there. But I don't know. The news, some of the news I understand, but that news isn't real news, you know what I mean? It's just odd, crazy, like Tiger Woods, who's still in it, in this tournament, which is depressing for me because I like Tiger and stuff. And then, Tiger victimized himself, first of all, his family, but and all these women and everything. But he also victimized the golf fan, me. You know what I mean? The guy, I believed in him and I trusted him, and so it was kind of sad for me because I don't care if a guy wants to lie down with ladies and stuff like that. I understand that's a thing guys like to do, but I don't like hypocrisy. You understand what I'm saying? I don't like a hypocrite. And to me, Tiger, when I was watching him, he always presented himself to me as a golfer. I always thought he was a great golfer. I watched him my whole, life. And he'd be in the sand hitting it out, and then the golf ball would come real close, you know what I mean, to the hole. And then he'd put it in and go like that and everything. So I was all happy. I go, man, that guy's a golfer. People would ask me, who's Tiger Woods? I go, he's a golfer. Right? Now, I had no idea he was leading this double life where by day he was a golfer and by night he was laying down with ladies. Otherwise, I never would have bought the Buick. Now I'm driving around a Buick, people snickering at me and stuff, Whatever. No, but he's a sex addict, and that's a hard one. I imagine that's a tough one to kick. Wouldn't that be the worst? Like those meeting, like a sexaholic. What if they have those meetings? What do they call them? They always say aholic. It only really works with alcohol. Like sex, AA, yeah, for sex. That would be a weird. I don't know how that would go. But if you haven't had sex for like a year or something, and then you don't want to hear about some guy's relapse. Guy's like, I've been weak. Oh no, you don't have to tell us. I met her in a bar. She was gorgeous. Please. You have to hug the guy. That's too bad. That's terrible. Well, we all, whatever. But I don't even know if sex, I don't even know if that's a thing. I don't know, It's weird to me because if you're an addict, if you're a heroin addict, you're addicted to heroin. The more heroin you do, the more addicted you are. Booze addict, you're addicted to booze. More booze you do, bigger addict you are, So to me, if you're a sex addict, let's say, sometimes you meet these guys like, hey, man, this guy's 70 years old, and he's been married since he was 20. Still happy, still have a healthy sex life, still has sex with his wife, every week or so, Then wouldn't you think, that guy's a sex addict? He is a sex addict to such a degree that he's willing to have sex with a 70-year-old lady. That's hitting bottom there, If you're going around getting a whole bunch of different ladies, that's not a sex addict. That's just a beautiful lady addict. I don't know what you call that. But if you're willing to just anything at all, just whatever's beside you after 50 years, you're like, I don't like you anymore, but or whatever they do. Whatever noise they make. Man, I don't like those news stories that's scary either, man. That's why I don't like watching the news no more. Because when I was a kid, just news stories be real stuff, like about the world or whatever. But now they'll have little personal stories that have nothing to do with nobody, and they present it as the news, and then you don't want to see them, And I noticed the latest one, they all seem to have, the show will open the news, and there'll be a guy with a suit and a tie, so he's a newsman. And he goes, hey, our top story tonight, a lady has vanished. And you're like, oh, yeah? And they go, yes, she's gone. Oh, yeah? Do I know her? No. You never heard of her, but we're going to tell you about her. We got Bill. He's on the outside. They have one guy inside, one guy outside. Bill, what's going on? And then Bill's outside. He's like, yeah, the lady vanished. Her name was Janice, and nobody can find her hiding her hair of her car. Was found in the car is fine. It's in the Burger King lot, but we can't find a lady. All right, back to you. And, so then you're at home, you go, well, I don't give a damn on account I never knew her in the first place. How can I possibly care? As a matter of fact, I'm happy it's her and not someone I know. So, but then they go, we'll tell you about it. You go, no, that's cool, I don't really want to know. But they can't help themselves, They go, here or she, oh, hey, Bill, you still outside? And he's like, yeah, of course. And they go, we understand you have some friends, Janice, to tell you about? Yes, we've been talking to some of her friends anyways. Turns out she's a good lady. Breaking news, Janice was a good lady. And we got some of her friends here going to talk about it. And then they show a lady and says, Janice's friend. And she says, oh, Janice, man, she was the greatest. She was the kind of person where you could walk into a room and she would light up the whole room. It was amazing. She didn't have a light or nothing like that. She would just somehow, through sheer tyranny of will, she could make a room light up. Some of us thought it was supernatural, but And then this is other Janice's friend. Oh, Janice. She was the type of lady I remember that you could always turn to. You know how sometimes you want to turn your neck, you know? Because you're having troubles. You want to, you know, or your neck hurts, whatever. But when you turn, the person you most want to see in your eye line would be Janice, you know? And then, if say Janice's other friend that wasn't one of the first two. Well, Janice, she's the kind of person, you could be talking to your best friend the whole world, you know? And then Janice comes in and goes, screw you, I'm talking to Janice. You know, you go over to Janice. She's a better person than you. It's Janice. And so then, at home, you start to get invested in Janice. You start liking her, you know what I mean? And every day they show you more about Janice, you know, and they show different home videos of her, and you're like, hey, honey, look. Oh, I like that hat she's wearing. She's eating a piece of pizza, you know. And you start really liking her, you know. You go, man, that lady's nice. I'd like to meet her one day. I forgot she vanished. Oh, well, they'll find her. I'm sure of it. Then you get hope, you know, and all you can think about is Janice. You know? Your feverish dreams are commanded by Janice's spirit, you know? You can't even think right, you know? And every day you're turning on the news, man, what's going on with Janice? And they keep going, telling, you know, and things progress, you know, and Bill's still outside, and he's like, we're still looking, it's been 3 weeks now. But as we speak, everyone's combing the woods behind me as we speak. And then you're at home, you're, oh, no, not the woods. You don't like to hear that. Nothing good ever happens in the woods. I've seen enough of these stories to realize that Janice is not going to come bounding out of the woods anytime soon. It's like, hey, what's going on, everybody? I was just taking a stroll through the woods. What's going on? Why are you taking pictures of me anyway? What's going on? Now, if they find you in the woods, generally, they find you in one spot. As a matter of fact, exclusively, every time, if you're found in the woods, you're found in a shallow grave. That's the way it works. I don't know why, but I've seen enough Bill Curtis specials to know that shallow grave is where you want to end up. Certain things you don't want on your death certificate. One would be shallow grave. Massive. You wouldn't want to see that on your death certificate, the word massive. Or maybe you would. I don't know. Maybe that'd be a good one. What about complications? That's the one that always confused me. I'm like, what the fuck? You go, hey, Doc, what did my dad die again? It's complicated. It's complications. He died from them. Well, how'd that work? You told me it was going to be a simple operation. Yeah, we thought it was. You're not a doctor, are you? It looks simple in the book. But once we cut him open, man, a lot of red stringy stuff in your dad. Very complicated when you get in there, really. Well, anyways, goodbye. So, yeah, you don't want to see shallow grave in any of your, you know, in any of the Fourth Estate's account on your being dispatched. So, and also, doesn't it seem a little rash, a shallow grave, you know? Like after all their planning, these serial killers, they're supposed to be so cunning, you know, so diabolical according to the TV movies I've seen. And doesn't it seem a little rash at the end that all of a sudden it's just shallow grave, you know? It's just, wouldn't you think they'd go to a little, yeah? There's like, there you go, a couple of leaves and a twig. That doesn't look like Janice. I don't remember Janice having twigs and leaves all over. Nobody will find her. A Boy Scout ain't going to stumble over her tomorrow morning, I know that much. I'm going home and await the authorities. And then they go home. Now, I would, if I ever did that, and I would never slaughter and kill a woman. I want you to know that. I know I say that now. Who knows? You know, can't predict the future, but I know there's not a river long enough that does not contain a bend. But I believe right now I would not slaughter a woman. And maybe it's just vanity talking. You know, the scriptures say that man is mostly vanity. But in my vanity, I do not believe I would do it, you know. But if I did do it, if I somehow snapped, because who would ever know, I would plan it out. I'd be very, very careful about it, you know. I would track the lady, you know. Because you know, there's still a stigma, even in today's enlightened society, when you slaughter a lady. So I would track the lady. You understand? I would find out, this is what you gotta do. You gotta find out her habits, you know? Like maybe you go, hey man, I know she goes to that cheese sandwich store every day, and when she comes back, she's got a big paper bag of stuff. I'll bet you anything, there's cheese sandwiches in there. Eh? So then you put that up in your head. Lady likes cheese sandwiches. It's one piece of information. But you take your time, you know? Then you notice, you see another pattern. You go, hey, every Wednesday night, that lady goes down to the gymnasium and plays basketball with other ladies, which is fine nowadays. So, what I would do is I would stand outside of the gym, you know, and she'd come out there all sweaty with a ridiculously tri-colored ball, you know, and she'd be finished her game, and then where would I be? I'd be standing at the other side of the parking lot, and in my hand, what do you think would be resting but a cheese sandwich, right? So then she'd go, hey, what's in your hand? I go, what, nothing? She'd go, yeah, there's something in your hand. I go, there's nothing in my hand. I don't know what you're talking about. She'd go, there's something in your hand. I'm not blind. I see something in your hand. I go, there's nothing in my, oh yeah, this. Oh no, it's just a cheese sandwich. What, why, you like them or something? I got a whole bunch in that van over there. Yeah, that craziest looking van you've ever seen in your life. It's right over there. You want to go there? You want to go get some? And by the way, if you ever do this, and I don't think you ever should, you don't have to have cheese sandwiches in the van. You know, unless you're proud of your detailed work or something like that. I don't want you to go, if you're a frugal serial killer, I'm the last that would advise you to throw away all kinds of money on cheese and double the amount on bread, you know? Should bread and cheese cost the exact same amount of money? But anyways, I would plan it out. That's what I'm saying. And then I would take the lady and I would never do this, of course, but I would take the lady in the van to a remote area, you know, where there was a wooden shack that I had constructed, and it was silenced to the point that her screams would just echo off the walls, never to reach civilized ear again. And then I would do whatever it is that they do that gives you that godlike power, and then I would take her to the woods and I would bury her in the deepest grave ever. That would be most of my plan. The grave. Like 2 years before I had selected a victim, I would be working on the grave. I'd get 50, 100-foot grave. As a matter of fact, if I had any sense in my head, as my dad used to say about me, I would start digging the grave now. Just in case, because you never know when you're going to snap, you know. I should go home and just dig a big, deep 100-foot grave, you know? And worst case scenario, like my dad used to say, hey, a little hard work never hurt anybody, goddammit, you know? And best case scenario, I slaughter a lady and get away with it. If if you're gonna slaughter a lady, and I'm completely against it, it's much better to slaughter a lady and get away with it than slaughter a lady and not get away with it. That's just I don't know, because I've not done either. You know, I would have to talk to one of you that have done both to really get an answer. But I would suspect, like anything, not getting caught, you know, is the better choice than getting caught. You know, it's funny, you know, the things we think we're afraid of, you know, because the things we're really afraid of in life, like monsters, you know, and serial killers and terrorists and stuff like that, they ain't gonna do nothing, you know? Like, what's the chances, really, you know what I mean? But you're always afraid, like earthquake or something like that, you know, tsunami, you're always afraid of this crazy stuff. But you're not, the stuff that really gets you, you're not afraid of. You don't even think about it, you know? Like, you think, you're always like, man, I hope a terrorist doesn't attack and kill me, right? What's the chance of that happening? Like 1 in a billion, you know? A terrorist ain't going to attack and kill you, you know? But what's the chance that you're going to be attacked and killed by your own heart? What, 100%? Yeah, nobody even thinks about that. Nobody even cares about that. Your heart can attack and kill you. And yet people like their hearts, you know. They give you for Valentine's, oh, a heart, ooh. People go, man, that guy's got a big heart. I go, you better fucking watch out on account of I could kill him. Does he know that? That it will attack and kill him when he's not expecting it at all? That's what happened to my dad. His heart attacked and killed him. It was tough. I don't know if you ever loved anybody, but when you love somebody and then their heart attacks and kills them, man, it makes you sad. And my dad, I loved more than anybody, and he never saw it coming, you know. He thought his heart was on his own side. He was looking around for terrorists, shit like that. And just one time, boom, his heart got him. He was lying in his bed, and boom, by the time he hit the floor, they say he was dead. And I saw him, I was the second guy after my mom to see him, and I was, oh, blood, it was black. I thought it'd be red. And he was lying there, and I was so sad. It was the most saddest moment ever. And it was too late. He was dead already, you know. And then the people came in the white, they wear white. They're not doctors, but they wear white. And it was too late. And they just try to make you feel better, you know. They just say anything, you know. Like one guy was like, don't worry, Norm, he never felt a thing. He died in his sleep. And then I was like, really? When his heart attacked and killed him? Because I wake up if my cat walks across my belly. So I don't know if my dad was that sound a sleeper. And another guy said, don't worry, Norm, he's in a better place. I say, he's on a floor. Dead. Earlier, he was alive on the bed with the Tempur-Pedic pillow I got him for Christmas. I'm not a doctor, but I think that's the worst place. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I have my faith. So as long as I have my faith, you know, I'm all right. As long as you have faith. If you don't have faith, forget it. You're through. But you know, you can have other things, I guess. You guys drink booze? If you don't have faith, like I have faith, you know, I have deep faith. But if I didn't, I think I'd go for booze. Because it seems like, you know, seems like a good thing. My buddy, everybody has diseases. My buddy has alcoholism, which is a disease. And he told me that. He said, Norm, I got a disease of alcoholism. You know, it's taken over my life. And it is a disease, you know. But I was trying to look on the bright side of things. And I told him, I said, listen, Bobby, his name's Bobby. I said, you know, it's true you got a disease and everything, you know, but you got to look at the bright side because that's what I believe in. And as far as diseases go, I think you got the best one, I told him, you know. Because it's the only disease where you get to drink a lot of booze all the time. As a matter of fact, that is the disease. Just drinking booze. It's not exactly bowel cancer. You know, like my Uncle Basil, he has bowel cancer. I would not, and I don't think my buddy Bobby, the alcoholic, would ever go to my Uncle Basil and go, hey, I hear you got bowel cancer. I know how you feel, man. I drink booze. Those diseases, good Lord. What are your symptoms? My bowel hurts a lot and I bleed from the bowel. How about you? I get happy. And sometimes I go somewhere, I meet someone that has the same disease as me, and then I have sex with them that night. That's in the latter stages of the disease. But listen, man, I'm just an old chunk of coal, you know. I'm gonna be a diamond someday. Don't worry about it. It'll happen through the grace of God, you know. You guys like God? I mean, you do God's work, you know, even if you don't know it. I have always been very religious, you know. But I'm a specific religion. I don't want to tell you what religion, you know, because I don't know if my religion is the exact correct one. Even though I know there's a God for sure, I'm not 100% sure that my guy is the right guy. And actually, that's one of my biggest fears is after I die, I get up to heaven, I'm like, oh, God, not you. I thought it was the other fella. What? Oh, God, he was a good public speaker, you got to admit that. Not him at all? No? Well, how about that? So what now? I got to get raped by the devil forever or something? So that's my worst fear, you know, because I try to do good, and I try to, even though I'm an old chunk of coal, I want to be a diamond someday, you know. I want to be the world's best friend, you know, go around shaking everybody's hand, you know what I mean? I want to be a good guy. But maybe God, through even an old wretch like me, can do something. But you guys do things for children. What's better than children? You know what I mean? I had a child. I still have one. He's like 10, 15, something like that. Time goes by so quickly. You know, it's hard to remember details. No. But he's beautiful. When you have a child, man, you got love. It's unbelievable. You never had it before. You realize you've never had it once you have it. You know? Like when you have a child, you go, oh my God, what the hell is that? You know? Like I know you used the word love before and everything like that, but you're like, whoa, that is something. And then your single friends, they don't understand. You go, hey, Jim, man, you got to get one of these. This is the craziest feeling I ever had. Like, I just all through my body, all I feel is like happy. And then the guy goes, is it like crystal meth? And you go, no, what? I don't want to be your friend anymore, friend. No. This is love. This is love. And then actually, sometimes you have this is the flip side of it, the bad moment, because you said earlier that you loved other things before you saw this, you know, which is what you really love. And so there's always a bad moment when you're looking at that, and then you look over at your wife. You ever do that? You're like, oh, look at this. I love. That's love. Oh. Hey there, lady. What's going on there? Yes, this is it. And it makes sense, you know, because it's pure and doesn't lie, and it's you, and it's your blood and your DNA and your Aunt Hazel's nose part right there, and everything. And so how can that compete to some lady that you met in a bar one night? How can that possibly compete with that? So anyways, The children. I love children. It's funny, like you can't love children anymore because, you know, even though Jesus, and I'll tell you something, I don't want to say any specific religion is better than all the false ones, but this is the only religion, I'll tell you, that I am against. The Church of Satan. Any retard knows that's not the right one. I think even Satan himself admits it. Anyway, you know, so Jesus was. That's one of the only. I think it's the only religion that puts children at the core. You know, of their religion. You know, they love children. So. So that's good because I love children. But when my child was young, though, it was always worry, always worry, always worry. You know, I remember when he was really young, and I was worried about everything. I remember one time, like he was only 4 days old or something. I was watching TV, and they had a news story. They said, "Coming up, a news story on crib death," and then I was like, "That's where my kid sleeps." You would think crib death would put a crimp in the sales of cribs. If not wipe out the entire industry. That's what I would think. You know? A couple of Toyotas go skidding around, all of a sudden they can't sell cars. But the crib industry, incredibly resilient, actually kills children. One of its defects. I'm calling for a full recall of all the cribs that have killed the children. Oh man, I'm thirsty. La 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 la. So yeah. So I'd probably drink if I wasn't a person of faith, you know. I'd probably drink a lot of booze and stuff like that. That'd be fun. You gotta do something, you know. And yeah, I don't like drinking though. You ever drink those little shooters that are really like powerful and they have like sex names? They have like filthy names. You know what I'm talking about? So they'll have like sex on the beach. You know what I mean? And so I don't know why they name them like that. I guess because people are drunk and they're like, hey, maybe if I drink that will happen to me. But of course, if you have a night of drinking, you're not going to end up having sex on the beach. That's never happened in the history of recorded time. You know? But you know, you're not going to have a shooter bar where you go up and go, yeah, excuse me, can I have a humping a dude I figured was a lady? I swear to God, I thought he was a lady. And also, my friend will have a senseless knife fight. You got one of them? Give him one of them. But, you know what? I don't like drinking because I can't drink. I go on the road so often, you know, because I'm a stand-up comic and I'm also a dangerous drifter. So my hobby and my work dovetail very nicely. I drift from town to town, across this great nation, you know, and I do some stand-up comedy. So I'll be in a town, and the policeman feller will say, "How long you in for?" He won't know that I do stand-up. He just knows me as a drifter. He goes, "I see you're in town, huh?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "How long you gonna be here?" I go, "Just till Monday." "Yeah, I work down there. I got a job, see? I got a job." Well, you can ask Vic. I'll be asking Vic. And I want you out of here Monday morning the time you say you're going to be out of here. I will, sir, I will. And off I go. But what I was going to say was that, you know, as I travel this great nation, you know what I would like to do actually is, if there is a Great Depression, is that coming, by the way? Because you guys seem to know more than me. Like, will there be a Great Depression? Like, will I be carrying around at some point a stick with a thing on the back of it? And will I be hanging around big garbage cans with fires and making hot dogs with them and sharing them with my friends? And ganging together, you know? We got to gang together in case the other gangs get us. Huh? I don't know. Keep seeing things on the news. Got to prepare myself. What about those things you see on the commercials where you go, I think everything's like retarded now because something's happening weird, you know? Like, you ever see where they'll go like, have a guy in the commercial and he goes, hey, you like gold? And you go, yeah. You go, you ever think of getting gold? Keeping it? It's worth a lot of money. And you go, yes, of course I've thought of that ever since I was 5. Daffy Duck. I first thought of it when I watched Daffy Duck when I was 5. Ah, well, you should get gold. I'm G. Gordon Liddy, and I broke into the Watergate Hotel. You like gold? I don't even know why the guys. What about guys that, I forget it. I was going to say guys that do commercials where they're, you know when guys are old and they do commercials? And you kind of feel sorry for them, you know? Because they're old. Like, remember the $6 Million Man? Right? The guy was worth $6 million. No, he's an actor, but he played the $6 Million Man. So when he got this, he goes, hey, man, what's the role going to be? You're going to be a guy worth $6 million. Say your arms are the best arms, and your eyes, everything. So he's feeling good about himself, you know? He's like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah? Because a regular man is not worth $6 million. You'd be surprised to know this, but an actual regular person, if you just took them down to their trace elements, you know what a human body's worth? It's only worth like a couple of $100,000. So, but this guy was worth $6 million. So now, anyway, I seen him on the commercial. He sells the bionic ear. So this is kind of sad to me, you know, that he was at one time, you know, Hollywood $6 million man, and now he's like, I don't hear too good. You want to buy this? The bionic ear. And of course, you get gypped because you think of the bionic ear from the show, where it was like do 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 do, and you could hear from a long way away. You know how you could tell the Bionic Man was fast, by the way? This is kind of a neat trick they did that seems very counterintuitive. But at the start of the Bionic Man, they'd show a collage of how powerful he was. To show how fast he ran, they would show him running in slow motion. So he'd be like this, da, da, and you go, God damn, that guy's fast. You go, man, I wish I could run that fast. How does he run that fast? So I always feel sorry for those guys that have to do that. What about those guys that have to do? They get so old, they do those commercials for old guys that can't get insurance and stuff. That's a bad job. Ed McMahon had it for a while, then he died. You know, after that job, generally you die, but because they pick an actor that's going to die soon, so he can relate to the. But so now it's Alex Trebek or something, but it's always like and they're trying to get old people, really old people, to get insurance that it appears they shouldn't be entitled to, and so it's always like, hey, have you never been accepted once? Everybody decline you because you're so close to death? Anyways, we want you. I don't know why, but it's costs $2 a year, and we don't make a lot of money, I'll be honest with you. My father started the business, and he was worth $6 billion 6 years ago, and he blew it all with this ridiculous venture. Anyways, so listen, guys, in honor of the children, you know, because, hey, the children are our future, and I believe that. I don't really believe that because they told me that when I was a kid, and it didn't work out. But I will tell you a joke that a kid told me in a sick kid's hospital. He told me this joke, and he promised me to tell you. And he's going to see his Savior before I mine, probably. Who knows? But his joke is this. This is his joke. He goes, it's a funny joke, and then I'll leave you. But you guys have been great. Thank you so much. So here's the joke. The joke is this. A dog walks into a telegram office, Western Union, I'm supposing. And he didn't know. And he said, so the telegram guy goes, hey, what do you want me to write in your telegram? So the dog goes, woof, 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 woof. So the guy writes it down, you see. And then he says to the dog, he goes, hey, dog, I can't help but notice here, there's only 9 words on your telegram, you know. 10 words or less, it's the same price. If you would like, I could add an extra woof, you know. And then the dog goes, but that wouldn't make any sense. Why would I? Most of his brain stem was gone. He wasn't making a lot of sense. But he was a child. They said he was more host than virus. I don't even know what that means. I'm not a doctor, but no such child exists. All children are beautiful, except the evil ones. I like all children, except British children. I don't like those British children because they remind me of the devil. They're very evil. And, you know, I grew up with the Omen and stuff like that. And, you know, when the Omen was young, Damien, you know, he was all scary and everything, you know. And then later, they did Omen 2, and he's a little older, he was still frightening. And then he was like 13 in the third one, and then he was frightening. Then they did one, he was an adult, he wasn't frightening at all. It's interesting, huh? You would think that you know, human beings would become more evil as time went on. You know? You wouldn't think that the embodiment of evil would be inside of a child. But, you know, I think that's just the celluloid pictures we get, you know. I think in reality, you know, as the scriptures say, let the children lead us, you know. So let me think if I can think of a joke. It only seems fair. Jeez, I don't know a lot of jokes. Oh, I know a joke. There was a guy who had a great pig, man. This guy had the greatest pig in the world. And so a guy come to his house and said, man, I hear you got the greatest pig in the world. So the farmer goes, are you kidding? You talking about Bill? The guy goes, I don't know, man. I just heard it was a pig. I didn't know it was a name. He goes, yeah, his name's Bill. Bill the pig. And this pig, man, he's the best. He goes, why do you say that? How come you say that? You got any examples? He goes, I got examples. He goes, last summer, man, he goes, our child fell into the well, you know, and was in the well. We didn't even know, and the pig came running. I was at the back 40 hoeing, and the pig grunted and snorted, and I came, just got my son out just in time. God bless that pig, you know. The pig had a wooden leg, by the way. I forgot to tell you that part. And so then he goes, yeah, that's interesting, but he's got a wooden leg. He goes, let me tell you more about the pig. He goes, then another time, He goes, that pig saved my life, man. I was under the tractor, and a pig with his own weight pushed up the tractor and hurt his spine. He had disc issues later, but he did it for me on account he loves me. And he goes, well, but still, you only got the wooden leg. Never mind that, the guy says. He says, listen to my stories about the pig. He goes, this pig, well, you know, last summer, the big fire, you heard about the big fire? You never heard about it? It was a big fire. It was a big fire all down the rural Route 20 here, and it hit our house the worst. Anyways, the wife and I are very sound sleepers, and we didn't hear anything. And if it weren't for the pig who hit his snout on the window outside of our bedroom, hit it with such ferocity that it smashed the window open, and we escaped, you know, the black smoke, then we would not be alive today. Why we belong to this pig. This pig, we would not exist without it. It's our most prized possession, if you could even call it that. We love that pig more than anything. And so then the guy said, but I still don't understand. How come it's got a wooden leg? And then the guy says, are you kidding me, man? Have you even been listening to me? You can't eat a great pig like that all at once. You know? You haven't heard a word I've said? What is wrong with you? Hey, folks, you've been great. God bless. Keep up the good work. And may God save your soul.
One more thing about my impression of you that I just recalled.
What?
I had a chance to meet Johnny Carson because of that impression.
Sudden thought, when did sugar diabetes become plain old diabetes?
How so?
Because Johnny Carson phoned me and he said he loves Larry King and every day he reads the News and Views, which was the impression I did was your News and Views in USA Today. So I had a chance to meet Johnny Carson, which I didn't take.
Why?
He would tell me stories, you know, he could tell me stories about everybody, you know, that existed ever in life in show business, and then I'd have to go, did you ever meet Chris Kattan? You know, I wouldn't have anything to give back.
But he wanted to meet Norm. You missed the.
I should have done it.
You're weird, Norm.
I met guys though. I did an impression of you on Saturday Night Live. You know, your King's Things, bulletin points, and so I did a parody of that on SNL, and I only had to slightly magnify it.
This is News and Views. Here's my 2 cents, gang. If you only see one film the rest of your life, it should be Mickey Blue Eyes.
I get a call from Johnny Carson, and he wants to meet with me at his office. So I go to his office, it's just me and him. And he pulls out a whole bunch of USA Today's clips, you know, of your column. And he starts reading them. He goes, here, you take some, I'll take some, we'll read them.
Just in the office?
Yeah, just me and him in the office, both of us doing Larry King impressions.
Look at this man compared to Johnny Carson at the time. You know, look at Johnny Carson. Get a picture of him 7 years before he retired. Long white hair, white beard.
He didn't have a white beard. Johnny always looked fantastic.
But would you like to hear my impression of Johnny Carson phoning 911 when he had his fatal heart attack?
I would.
Okay. Okay, you be the 911 operator.
Okay. What, I
Ding,
just say
ding.
hello? Hello, 911.
Yeah, hello?
Can I help you, sir?
Yes, this is Johnny Carson.
Johnny Carson from television?
Yeah, yes, that's right.
Oh, hello, Mr. Carson. Okay. What can I help you with?
I don't know. I feel like there's a yak on my chest.
He did have a lot of yak jokes, didn't he?
Well, have I ever done my Johnny Carson impression for you?
No, you haven't. And I'm sure this young audience would love to see it.
You can play along. You can be the 911 operator. This is Johnny Carson when he was having his heart attack. You be the 911 operator.
Yeah, okay.
Say hello.
Hello.
Hello. This is Johnny Carson.
Oh, Mr. Carson, how can I help you?
I feel like there's a yak on my chest. Do you want to hear my impression of the
That's going to be you if you don't lose weight.
Do you want to hear my impression of the 9/11 call from Johnny Carson?
911 call.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But 9/11 was a national tragedy.
Yes, it was.
Why do you laugh at that?
You said me.
Johnny Carson died at
80
years old. Okay, Johnny Carson died at 80 years old. Would you like to hear my impression? Would you like to hear my impression of Johnny Carson?
Call.
Johnny Carson's 911 call. Because he called while he was having a heart attack.
No.
Would you like to hear my impression? Okay, you be the 911 operator.
Hello, operator Mary.
Yes.
What is your 911 emergency?
I feel like there's a yak on my chest.
Hi-oh!
All right. We would like to thank Andy Dick for being on the show, and to end the show, Andy Dick will be reading a joke, and then the show's over. Good night, everybody. Andy?
Purple socks.
Oh, can I do a Karnak?
I was trying to.
Can I do a Karnak?
Yeah.
You told me that we should go our separate ways, but now your life without.
That's what I was trying.
Now, do you know how to be Ed McMahon during this?
Well, you have to read
Okay. Mount Baldy. Mount Baldy.
And you read.
No, then you have to say Mount Baldy.
Mount Baldy. Mount Baldy.
Yeah, Mount Baldy. What did Yul Brennard's wife do on their wedding night?